be loud and cheer for your team. दिल से आवाज निकलना चाहिए. Let's go guys!
That we deem stars is quite a daunting task, but he's doing very well up.
Yeah, he's shown up, and we always get a player like this that maybe isn't battle tested, and it turns out they perform extremely well under that kind of pressure. Also, looking at Mind Freak, he didn't have any clutches last week. He seemed to have these moments where he had an opportunity to maybe deliver, to come through and crush, and he wasn't able to do that. So hopefully, coming into this is going to be an opportunity to prove that, and not a pattern that's going to continue to repeat itself on week after week after week.
Yeah, we need to be seeing that impact from him. I think that it was versus DRX. If you went back and looked at one of the maps, his average damage per round, it was less than 60 across the map. And it's just, you can't really afford to have that be happening. You're not necessarily pulling your
Sure.
weight. I mean, obviously, you know, still setting up smokes and whatnot, but when you do get into that position, when you're Mind Freak, we do expect you to be able to perform, to be able to put up those frags, to be able to find those kills, shut down those site takes, and, you know, have yourself be involved in the firefights when they actually do break out on your site. So I'm hoping that we see a reinvigorated Mind Freak here today, because again, I don't mean to talk the guy down so much.
Sure.
It's just disappointing to not see the same level that we have seen from him in the past, because we know that if he's doing that, if the rest of Paper X are living up to those levels, they can be that team that pushes other international competition to the very limits, that can make grand finals, that can potentially become crowned champions and be the best in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the biggest thing I want to drive home, is the fact that we're all saying this because there is a case where he has done it, right? So we know it can be done, that he can really kind of support the team even when they look like they might be down. He's the one who reinvigorates them and is able to bring Paper X to the forefront right now. The team overall, you know, seems to be still figuring stuff out, and Mind Freak's right there in the middle of it, where he's also not able to perform to the level that we've seen him do before. So with all this said and done, of course, the most important thing that perhaps maybe not everyone is interested in, but we're interested in, is our own predictions here for the match. Now, theory would say that just given history, Paper X should be favored, but Achilles and I are going for Global Esports. You know, we'll hear the minority first here. What do you think?
Look, I am a little bit surprised by the picks, the lineup, I should say, here for Paper X. I do think they wouldn't do this unless they thought this was their best option to win. I think we're too deep in the tournament to be trying to lab things out and experiment. Yeah, I mean, I still think Paper X can take it. We're going to see as well if they're going to obviously lean into that very aggressive style. I guess if we have too many ego peaks from you know, them, and they overextend a little bit, that's going to be a problem. But I think if they can do what they've already done, they can take
Still
it.
doable.
Yeah.
Still doable. All right, W Gaming. What about you, Achilles?
I mean, again, I think for me, given what we've seen from Global, given the level of competition they've shown against really stiff opposition, I think that they should be well suited to handle Paper X. Aaron has really great reads on what his opponents are looking to do. I mean, the fact that he was able to get a read on DRX and be able to push them into that 17-15 overtime on split, it shows me that he's really got his head in a great space. He's really able to download his opponents, and I think that he's going to be able to do that a bit here with Paper X, especially if they're going to go full chaos gaming. I think he should be able to pilot the team through that chaos, bring them out the opposite side, and be able to find the win, especially when it comes down to the defending side where he's most comfortable. I've just seen a bit more from Global, and I think that with this curveball being thrown, obviously this either goes one of two ways. It's either going to be, okay, CGRS comes in, he brings something new that none of us were anticipating, that Global weren't ready for, and it catches them off guard and it helps them get a win, or it's going to fall flat. I think that that's basically the two scenarios that are laid out. For
Feast
Paper
or famine,
X's sake, I hope that it's the former, but I'm going to be anticipating it to be the latter, because how much time have they really had to prep this? Because they have been undergoing so many changes. Something coming in just before the signing window had closed. They get him now over to Korea. They start scrimming with him. How much scrim time have they had with CGRS? I don't know.
Right. I mean, that's the big question, right? Obviously, he's been with the roster a bit longer than something, but how much was he really part of that core idea? Now, before we jump in, we have just a little bit more time. I want to ask you as well, Tasteless, in terms of curveballs, right? I mean, how much do you think that really affects players going on stage? I mean, do you think if you're Global Esports, are you kind of thrown off by this, or do you just say, hey, it's still Valor, we just play our own game?
I would be a little bit caught off guard. I don't think it's going to throw them off so much they can't play their own game. And I think if Paper X fails here, it's going to show they really don't know what lineup is working for them. It's going to be a tumultuous rest of the tournament. Now, if they come out and they perform very well, then obviously they're just showing that they can kind of open up the dashboard, tune the dials a little bit, and fix whatever issues they're having. But again, if it doesn't work, it's going to be disastrous for them.
All right, well, kind of a do-or-die mission here for both teams. Global Esports, they absolutely need the win if they want to keep their hopes alive for playoffs. Meanwhile, Paper X, it's more about kind of living up to the recognition that the fans have given them so far and their reputation. Of course, for all things more VCT Pacific, you can follow us on all the channels you see down below. And right now, we're going to get ready to kick off Week 5 of VCT Pacific. It's going to be Paper X going up against Global Esports. Kicking off week 5 of Valorant Champions Tour Pacific 2023, it is going to be Paper Rex going up against Global Esports. We kick things off on stage with Forsaken and Monyet.
Monyet, I mean, again, one of the players that we just highlighted is always worth talking about. This guy's made such a name for himself and continues to kind of carry on the M-named, controller players, just kind of dominating, whereas we're looking for Mindfreak again to step up and have that impact. Bazzi on the opposite side, somebody who had an immense amount of impact in Global's first victory just last week, looking incredible, but we get our first look here at the YouTuber extraordinaire, CGRS.
I mean, he's got a he's trying to find a spot. He doesn't know.
Where do I go? It's my first time up here.
I mean, it's his first time.
He's having fun up there. That's good to see. Again, we were wondering how exactly is this guy going to perform. And sometimes you can look at somebody walk on stage and maybe get a feel for where they're at. But it does seem like overall, all the players on both these teams have gotten pretty well acclimated. We see something coming out as well, along with SK Ross.
Onto the stage, that's when things can go awry. That's when it doesn't always live up to, the potential that you have seen in scrim. So I'm hoping that CGRS comes out here, prepared, at home, very much feels comfortable. It's going to be on the rest of the players as well as Coach Alex here to make sure that he is feeling that way, because this is going to be a hell of a lot of pressure. Somebody comes in not necessarily being known for being a competitive player, more so for his content creation, streaming, that kind of thing. So really looking forward to seeing how acclimated he is.
And look, it's important to remember that while content creation and streaming, you are performing in a certain way, you're on camera, you're putting yourself out there. It is different than being on a stage like this with a live audience, with the pressures really on.
Yes.
Not just to have something, how do I say, you have to play perfectly. If you fail, you really do fall flat on your face. So
yeah, there's no going back, right?
Exactly. There's no rewind, there's no edit button, there's nothing like that. So this is going to be a fun moment, and hey, if he can do that, that's going to be amazing there for Paper Rex.
Sure, and I think that the thing that would be even more impressive is doing it with whoever the hell is going to be shot calling during this, at least this first map, because again, we don't really know. We'll have to talk to the team and kind of get, some feedback on who is actually going to be IGLing. Just given, playing from a controller role, trying to dictate the pace of the game, perhaps it's going to be him, or
could be
maybe
Forsaken
even Forsaken.
if he's playing, the Sentinels still,
It could be, but either way, you're anticipating it's going to be one of the veterans of the roster rather than CGRS in something. But if it turns out to be the case that it is them, or if it's a shared effort and something in CGRS are very much contributing to the shot calling, then I'm that much more impressed.
Ooh,
Icebox, though.
Nice. Yeah, okay, we talked about Icebox not being played that much here in Pacific, but it's going to be Paper Rex that says, all right, let's take it to Icebox, right? We haven't played it yet here in Pacific. Let's see what you've got against us.
I mean, you talk about not even playing it in Pacific. They haven't played this in a very long time. We haven't seen them play Icebox in a VCT event since Champions. Didn't play it at all at Lock-In, given the one series that they played versus C9. So they haven't played this since they lost to EDG 5-13. They did play it at the India Invitational.
Yes.
But that was also during Chamber meta. So we haven't seen them play this map post-Chamber. I'm expecting that it's going to be a bit more meta, to current day with Harbor and maybe even, Harbor Sage for that extra protection coming through on plants and spike defenses. But, again, with CGRS in this lineup, I'm not really sure what to anticipate. For the side of Global, they got to show it to us for the first time last week versus Talon. It was a fairly close bout between the two. We'll see what they have prepared today.
We did have Pearl pick
They're
for
playing
the final map.
They're playing Gecko.
Oh, nice. CGRS Gecko as well. I mean, hey, maybe he's been labbing it out, right? Trying to figure out how to make Gecko work here. And on the side of Global Esports, we've still got Aaron on that Harbor. Of course, it's going to be Harbor and Viper. No Sage, but Texture is going to stick with that Killjoy for a little bit of that extra passive info. On the side of Paper Rex, I mean, you do have the core idea still there, right? You've got the Viper and the Sage, which has been an age-old composition here. Something's still playing that Jet. But CGRS on that Gecko, I mean, big question marks on how this is going to look.
I mean, it's so funny. We started out, saying, okay, well, this is an unusual pick, and this is obviously an important moment. What are they going to do? And then you see they pick this agent of all agents to come out with a new player like this. This is wild.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. PaperX trying to live up to their reputation. Global Esports trying to continue their win streak. Let's find out how this plays out on Icebox with our casters. It's Paper Thin and Quack.
Thank you so much, Desk. I think we need to present to them our ideas. We need to pitch this idea that PaperX and Global Esports, no matter what the result will be, it's going to be fun, Sharks. I want 100% equity out of you, Will. So
we do look like we're at a tech startup right now. And trying to scam Mark Cuban out of his money. But look, I mean, this is definitely, this is going to have to be a strong sales pitch here for PaperX. And frankly, when we do our predictions, we don't know the lineups of the players before we do all that. This might have changed my mind, to be honest. I hope this goes well for PaperX. I want to see exciting things out of CGRS. I want to see this Gecko be impactful. So far, it hasn't been too impactful in a lot of scenarios. I still think people are trying to figure out exactly the proper way to navigate Gecko. Now, there's a lot of, I think on this map, there's a lot of opportunity to really take advantage of the fact that this map has a lot of verticality with the utility. Throw it up in the air, get some info, it comes back down, you pick it up like with the Dizzy.
Cooldowns.
Exactly.
But that said, right, I mean, we haven't seen that much innovation yet. This is the third time that we've seen Gecko in VCT Pacific. Other regions maybe a little bit more, but again, the impact hasn't been that great. Maybe this is the Zoo strat that PaperX were talking about during the conference and everything, so let's see what happens. But already starting things off, it's a full team all the way straight down, and they will get control over 2.
It's a good trade there, and only losing to CGRS, but now it's a flank from Texture.
Oh boy.
Here they come, here comes GE.
You're gonna get sandwiched quick. Texture is looking for it. Mindfreak trying to hold the off angle, but not quite connecting the shot. Again, Impact kind of lost. PaperX now. It's up to Forsaken back on the initiator role of all things, but not quite landing the shots. Still, it's now down to Jing in a 1-on-4. He's only got a Frenzy. This is a hellish situation.
No doubt. They've been absolutely just phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, they are up there in terms of pistol rounds, and also a lot of it is due to Aaron's shooting and calling as the leader. Now back on to the next round. Something's got the Sheriff. I don't know how much he can do off of this. SK Rossi has the angle, has the Marshall. Not quite going to connect it now, but this is big information for GES.
Yeah, they're really controlling the space nicely here, not really giving PaperX the opportunity to get in on this entry, get the plant they're looking for, using that Harbor utility to buy some time. But PaperX standing pat, they're not moving towards the B side just yet. Still all 5 players chilling over here, and this flash is about to confirm that, yep, there's still players there.
With a play like this,
not ready yet.
For shutting down the time, the best that you can look for is just a simple frag, maybe a pick. You can continue to push on through, but at some point you walk straight into the blender. That is Aaron. A quick triple now, looking for the last one, but a right click to the face from Forsaken. Only for a second though. You only have a classic now, and you're hearing so many footsteps, so many sounds. The ult orb being picked up. He goes up top, actually finds a second.
they didn't want to throw those guns over.
Yeah. Let's be a little bit more careful about this. But the good thing is that they're recognizing they lost a little bit of that economy. They're going to save up. SK Rossi on a Sheriff is still able to dish out the damage. Paper X has to be careful in this round because a single mistake, you might lose a rifle, and then that could be the bonus round for Global.
Look at how aggressive Rossi and Batsy are getting over towards the B side.
I like that.
I love this. This is a completely different look from what we saw in the last round. Now you've got the Viper over here as well to try and buy a little bit of time, and a great shot from Rossi.
What a pick! And that's your controller gone. You can't pull off fakes on B anymore. You have no choice but to rely on Jing and his walls, and you can only push up A at this point. Maybe if something can find a frag or two, but SK Rossi, he's just going to be able to dash out of that situation. Now the hit comes on towards the A site. There are 3 players lying in wait. A snake bite at the feet of CGRS. He's able to find a little bit of a burst. Aaron's gone. Monyet still in a corner. This mosh pit does not quite land where he wanted it to, though. So they'll be trying to use the elevation to find an angle onto him. It works, and now off the texture. Spectre in hand, he's able to reposition and just to buy enough time for his teammates to rotate over. And that's where SK Rossi strikes. He's got the Vandal from behind. Something turns around 180, still lands a shot, but now in a 1-on-2. Doesn't have that much left. No tailwind available just yet. 15 seconds remaining.
This is going to be interesting to see how much pressure they're going to put on him. He's going to try this clear this corner.
Barrel, get the first headshot.
Time.
Batsy, he's got the bird as well. A bit of a blind, but he sticks the deep fish.
Oh! That's it. That's round over.
Just an...
coming in the next round, but Batsy played that timing to perfection, using that flash and pushing off the back of it.
And again, like, that is a strong defensive play from Global. I love that they push into Garage to get that information. See, right now they're trying to do something similar. A little bit of utility spent towards Garage, and the rest of Paper X headed up towards A.
And now you have to leave Mind Freak on the other side of the map to try to sell this a little bit, and Forsaken gets the opener on Monyet.
That actually works out. Monyet a little bit distracted by the barrel he spotted at the top, but of course off this, the sight hit is successful. In fact, Something gets to put himself up on a little bit of a nice sniper's nest up on top of screens.
Right there.
The rest of them rotating over. Maybe SK Rossi on a flank again.
Right there.
Paper X, they seem okay.
Yeah, CGRS only one away from his ult here. If he gets a kill, he could throw those thrashes out and do some real work.
Just waiting for it. Holding the angles, playing, ducking in and out of cover. The rest of Global trying to push off of Rafters, but it doesn't quite work out. And this is how Paper X will still be able to find rounds, just watching each other backs. Standard, classic Valorant, and it works.
Yeah, it's just kind of GE's playing a little bit further back this time, and a little bit more space being gathered by Paper X, where they're able to read the map a little bit better. Leaving Mind Freak on the other side, even though he does die to SK Rossi, he's still able to get through here, get ahead of a lot of the utility of the side of GE, and get this round win. Looked pretty easy, pretty clean doing it. Now you've still got the Blade Storm in the back pocket for something. I was curious if maybe they try to upgrade him a little bit, but Money's still a little bit down, so there is the Blade Storm for Rock.
Paper X, on the other hand, recognizing the scenario, will just rotate all the way over to B. Look at where Mind Freak is, though.
Should be noted by the turret here. Yeah, okay, let's see what the reaction is going to be. Oh, the Thrash gets one, and the follow-up is great.
What a double kill off the Thrasher, and that's a coordinated play. Kind of works out. Here comes Monyet with the Sheriff. Will be shut down, and the last one left. SK Rossi. He's got the blades, but not quite going to find any cuts with that. And that's going to be a second round win for Paper X.
Yeah, flawless here, and a huge change of momentum for Paper X. Now, as Rossi is looking to invest in that operator potentially. I can see it floating in his buy. Didn't have enough for the follow-up. That's a great transfer there from Mind Freak. And the Desmond's talking about it, that we need to see him step up, and that's a big round. A good start for him and Paper X. 4 kills in that one for Mind Freak, and absolutely The paper boys and girls are very exciting.
Paper boys and girls. I love them all. But it's the thing, whatever happens, it still is such a great match of Valorant right now. Both teams trying to find each other's ebbs and flows. Global, a little bit curious, a little bit adventurous. SK Rossi. Even if you Tailwind at the foot of 2, you're not going to have that much space. So one pick, but Jing makes an instant trade. I love that Aaron's here to receive, though, but not quite able to connect the shot. Jing continues forward with his rampage, wall up, getting control over B now. Botsy's the only one here, and he's kind of trapped unless he goes back through 2.
He's got to go under. I mean, this is so tough. Texture trying to lock down multiple angles. But yeah, this is just a nightmare for GE.
That leaves Texture alone. I think he spotted Forsaken's barrel back there, but again, it's going to be back towards Hut. He finds Jing 1-on-2. He's fully aware that Mind Freak's towards yellow, possibly a player. Yep, that confirms it towards Snowman. And then the shot from the back. Mind Freak finding his form today.
Yeah, this is what Paper Rex really needed. Right now, he is just clicking, and it's a quick timeout here from GE. They really need it because now they're giving up space, and they're losing battles. You know, giving up guns, giving up players early here. Again, SK Rossi, yeah, sure, like you hit it on the nail on the head, dude. Even though he's got that dash with a little bit of time left on it, he doesn't have the space to really retreat. So he's just caught, and Aaron not good for the follow-up. So that's like basically map control. And then they cut off, you know, the other half of the map there with the wall, with the Sage wall. And so everything just kind of crumbles for GE. So now let's see what the change is going to be. I wouldn't mind seeing them try to contest the space at the, you know, towards, you know, the A choke, towards the orbs, right, on both sides of the map like they were doing early on. That seemed to be working well. Maybe they'll start showing us looks like that. Again, if you're going to send Rossi out that 2, I don't want to see it with an operator. I don't mind the idea when he's, you know, got a sheriff or something like that.
It's like that little moment of hesitation. If he was a little bit earlier and you just Tailwind right away, you might be able to survive. But because it kind of expired, that's what happens. That said, though, I do agree. I think the rounds that we've seen Global succeed in are rounds where they actually contest for space. Like when they push into Garage, when they actually gain more information towards Nest, it works out for them. But right now, maybe they're just respecting Paper Rex a little bit, trying to figure out their styles and tendencies, because this is a very different composition. It's a refreshing kind of approach to Icebox now when you go in for 2 control of all things.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, you've got a ton of ults here for Paper Rex. Everything but the Thrash. Let's see what they want to do off the back of this. Texture did have his lockdown, but you have to counter.
Oh, Rossi.
I mean, Rossi, again, you know, just check in to see if anybody's going underneath the tube, as it is another eco round for the side of GE. And Texture is just going to start piecing off. There is the alarm bot there.
Pick up it.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Why?
Paper Rex aren't W gaming.
There's no W in here. What is this round?
Is this Paper Rex? Have they been possessed? Did they swap
Well,
desks?
I think they might have expected some W keying out of GE this round. So I think they're taking their time, making sure that there's no weird pushes, there's no weird flanks trying to be attempted by GE. You know, you don't want to throw a thrifty here when you're, you know, when you have this momentum going that Paper Rex does right now.
That's a very good point. And that's why they're just playing safe on the A site. All 4 players stacked up here, but this is now Paper Rex's domain. They have taken full control, full execution on towards Global. It was an eco round after all, but they just weren't able to withstand against that aggression.
So this is exciting. I mean, as Paper Rex fans, you got to be loving what you're seeing. This is phenomenal. Their coordination here is great. I think we even had a mosh pit kill in there on the back. You know, those are pretty hard to like pull off.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is, right there. You can hear him. He's fired up. CGRS just gives us a shout out when he gets that. He gets the molly kill, and he's thrilled. I mean, I don't blame him. That was a great execute.
For the guy that wasn't sure which desk to go to during his walkout, I mean, he looks comfortable. And this is the Paper Rex that we all know and love.
Oh
they
my
will
God.
be able to continue on to find yet another frag. Global trying to get a little bit spicy with this.
They read that position so well. Something somehow
How's
gets
he
away with
alive?
that. I don't know.
Oh my God, and he finds another one for it. Even Tailwind's back, gets the heal from his teammates. And that's going to be Paper X still controlling the site, spike down, pushing past screens. CGRS takes Monyet down.
I mean, the opening pick here to read the position of SK Rossi with the op is just beautiful. That just breaks everything open for Paper X, and you can see that this just gives them all the confidence.
Breaks everything open for Paper X, and you can see that this just gives them all the confidence. I mean, he overpeaks a little bit here. I guess that's more of a mistake in my opinion on Rossi's side, but still, it's good capitalization on it. And Rossi maybe is not expecting to be pushed up that far at that moment.
With that utility, you know, we saw earlier, like baiting texture when it was a 1v2.
Oh, yeah.
So this is exciting, and now something's got an op.
I'm still kind of befuddled as to how something did not get slain in that previous engagement. Back into it though, and Paper Rex showing us a whole new different side to them. Look at how careful they're approaching this. There is a Viper's Pit on A though. Global trying to respect that space. Rossi holding the angle onto 2. Takes a little second. Not much info found down mid though. Did they spot him through too?
That might have seen it. I'm not sure. There's some kind of information, coming through here. I'm not sure if the Trailblazer spotted it or not. Now they know it's a B hit. Love the patience here from Mindfreak.
Great peek from Texture though. Sudden push out of the screens, and he will be able to take down the first player, and that's going to be Jing. Something still trying to dish out death from above, but Mindfreak, a big flank, a big lurk. He's able to cause paranoia in the back of Mind's Texture. Suddenly gone. They're not quite sure where to look. So much space being taken. Spike down. Rossi trying to find what he can. He does have Vandal in his hands now, but look at where their spike is planted. They're going to have to dish out so much damage in order to push in, and Rossi just might be the one to do it. A triple kill now, and that leaves CGRS alone. Monyet coming all of a sudden from the back of mid. He finds CGRS.
Man,
SK Rossi's stats right now. 11 frags, 7 the highest on the whole server. This guy is providing the value for his team, and he's finding it again and again. Back on the knives and just waiting up by A. Paper X exploring the side of the map once again. Until he's sent out now. But here comes the flash from Botsy. A sudden push, and it's that big contest that we were looking for. They push Paper X back, but the spike has been dropped.
I just love that. It's a flash and dash with the Reckoning to back it up. That is a wonderful set play there from GE. That's an eraser special. I can tell you that right now. That's Korean Valorant if I've ever seen it. You just flash and you send your jet in, you follow up with the utility. It's so beautiful from the side of GE.
Erasing even more now, something. Not be able to make it forward. Mindfreak trying to clutch.
I love that. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of this, okay? But yeah, this is just a great set play. And the set Rossi and community's doing, start flipping people that those guys, yes, he goes down, but that's the rest of their follow. You get the Reckoning to stack on top of it. The utility, the way that they're using it now,
maybe the second it is confirmed. And of course, the Viper's Pit on the A site, they might have to evacuate because of the lockdown, but they still have a lot of these great positions. Mindfreak still has the snake bites. He's still hiding up on top. Forsaken finding the third now. And of course, the entire site engulfed in green. They will not be able to do all that much. Aaron tries to spray, but gets shut down by Forsaken with the Quadra.
Yeah, I love the positioning here from Paper Rex, you know, leaving a player to watch for that flank, kind of recognizing that GE wants to get more aggressive, you know, off the back. The Viper's Pit to keep it up, and they're still able to find the value out of it. So really, really well handled here, in particular by Forsaken locking down that backside. But, you know, Mindfreak is a key piece of this with his utility to get the plant down, to get the setup, and to have the reaction to that lockdown that they knew was coming.
But still, I mean, look at this round now. A bit of a flash, and SK Rossi's up on top of Nest. He strikes and something's instantly gone. Even goes up for a second. SK Rossi, calm down, my boy. On to the next one, and Texture shuts off the B-side approach, looking for a second, maybe a little bit of a res. But this is big information for Global. They are fully aware of this hit coming through. A bit of a dizzy flash, and it blinds off, covers the screen. But I think Texture's still good. He knows how to play around this. The entire team is making their transition over to the B site.
Fast rotate from the side of Rossi and Batsy. Been working together really well this map so far.
No way you get the spike planted at this point. They tried to pull it off with the wall from Jing, but covered off by so much. Ooh, we tried to airstrafe out of that. Still able to stick it through. All right, but here comes Batsy, and accompanied by Rossi from behind. CGRS, Jing hunting him down. They work together in tandem. And now they only have to focus about the front. A bit of a poison cloud, and they try to spray through it. But oh my God, 3 players on the other side.
Push and pulls from Paper Rex that I talked about previously. I wanted to see Paper Rex try to do different things. Didn't fool him at all.
You might even say that actually this is kind of the contrast between the two teams. Maybe not even contrast, the similarities. Because Texture used to be that duelist. In the previous round, we saw Forsaken lurking up by Belt. This round, we see Texture, the ex-duelist, now Sentinel, doing what Forsaken would have done, but on the B site. Both teams switching up their play, switching up their strats, and trying to kind of adapt to each other. But it's proving to be so even right now, and this is beautiful Valorant.
No, I agree. It's a really fun match. I mean, CGRS has looked pretty good at times in this. He's looked pretty fast. He's reacted to things well with his utility. He's had impact. You know, we even saw a mosh pit kill in there. We saw a thrash that connected.
Set up for Mindfreak as well.
Oh my God, it's looking really good. Honestly, I'm very impressed with what they're bringing with this. You know, with this Gecko that hasn't had a ton of impact here in Pacific at least.
Yes, in Pacific.
Yeah.
So far, only Talon's been the team that played Gecko, and that wasn't so great. But here, I think we're seeing a lot more coordination and teamwork and maybe some careful plays from Paper Rex, different from their usual blind, crazy, fast W gaming style. Still a little bit chaotic at times, and that's why I think it's a little bit tough for Global to read them. But on the other hand, what you're seeing on the side of Global is still a lot of setups for this star player, this super kid that is SK Rossi. And I believe right now he's on top of this score.
Yeah, he's playing really, really good. He had a few kind of whoopsies early on with the op. I'll just say that. It wasn't.
Whoopsies.
Yeah, I mean, it just, you know, he's getting aggressive. He's trying to take space, and that's part of GE's game plan, you know, and Paper X just had good reactions to it. So, you know, the adaptations came through, though. That's the important thing. Like, you try stuff, it doesn't work, you change it right away, and you have success. That was, you know, very effective for both sides, but particularly Rossi. You know, we saw him overextend a little bit early. Jing's going to use his wall to grab the orb off the pistol round. So the early play for some information, and GE's going to just knife the wall, see if there's a reaction.
It's kind of a hefty investment, if you ask me. 400 credits just to pick up that orb. Maybe it's worth it.
You get a little bit of info.
Yeah.
Potentially, you know, you're forcing a little bit of utility here out of the Jet, right? You got the knives, so you can at least
wait,
hear.
actually, it's not just that. Look at the position.
Yeah, texture's real deep, but CGRS is here. He's ready, maybe. Well, he's dropping back, so the pressure here is going to open up space for texture.
Okay, very tactical. We're seeing the Trailblazer clear out yellow. PaperX instantly reacting to this. What I don't like so much about this is the lack of map control. You have no idea that texture is so deep into A. You have no idea that Monyet is up in the kitchen. We're starting to cook. CGRS able to dodge the flames. Now they're looking to possibly sandwich him.
Forsaken was quick to get over there, and yeah, like you were talking about, dude, texture unaccounted for. Mind Freak there, not ready for Monyet. And it's a 5v3. Okay, quick trades though on the site.
And again, it's these pistol gods of global something trying to descend, but not quite able. He's the one falling instead, CGRS. Last one now, 1-on-3, a turret in his face. Aaron up on top, peeking off. On top.
Site's free, come on over. And oh yeah, when Forsaken comes in to try to check, they have no idea that that space had been taken. And so really good stuff here from GE.
Is really, really smart. PaperX getting faked like that. Now this round, they're out for blood, maybe going a little bit aggressive, trying to find a pick, trying to find a possible weapon donated. But I don't think Global are do that. They're pretty stingy this round. Look at how they're playing.
No doubt. Again, you want to be careful of over-aggression. Now, okay, Forsaken gets 2 big kills again.
How? Off of pure aim, the classics will be able to ring true, but Monyet now walk into the spray. We're spraying, we're praying, we're going to church, but texture.
PaperX sort of just found a decent time to just pull the trigger and say, all right, everybody go now. Everybody just, hit W and let's try to take them down. And it worked a treat. Certainly, you're very happy with that round if you're a PaperX fan.
Plant the spike.
Yeah. Sometimes the aim just works. Sometimes the firefights just favor you. But off to the next round, though. I think firepower will speak volumes. That's K. Rossi still. Sudden headshot and then something. Tries to make it a trade. Won't get too greedy off of this. Jing, bit of a standard wall just to block off Hype's block off Maze, trying to push forward. Global, and very careful.
Batsy was able to pick up that Marshall. He is no slouch with it. I can tell you guys that I've seen him when he was on Slayers do some pretty nasty things with that Marshall.
Oh, wow.
See if he can get something done. Yeah, a tag there on the Monyet. It's going to force him back, maybe hit the heel.
Shuffly. I don't think it's just a bit of a heel. Maybe we're just going to rotate back forward, and that's why Forsaken this.
It's a ton of info
scouting out, yes, with the Owls room. Now he knows there might be a bit of mid presence. We're splitting up our defensive forces 2 on 2 on each site. We do have the guns. We just need to make the right call, the right read. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
What just happened? Paper thin, Monyet winning out a one-on-one against Forsaken. Indonesian versus Indonesian, and he comes out on top with a ghost. Mindfreak, you have to save the day. It's not gonna happen. Texture says no. We're down to a 2-on-3. Texture does have a Spectre. Jink comes up from mid. Oh, he's able to do so much because of the positional displacement. Now Texture, a sudden swing. And we're back to a 1-on-1. We have the Spectre still. We're trying spray. Oh no! On this top of pipes, might be able to find a bit of a frag, but that's it because one and done. Global gets to push forward now. Texture, SK Rossi, they are just decimating Paper X with this. The adaptations, it looks really fluid. You're not anchoring any player down to a specific role. It doesn't have to be concrete. But sometimes when that happens, there are too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You're not on the same page, things can fall apart really quick. So Paper X, they really need to strap up their boots in this round if they want to make this a contest. Otherwise, Global wins, you're back on a save, and that might be over.
This is Paper X's pick, too.
Exactly.
It is very surprising. I mean, especially not having Devi in on this map, because Devi has been one of their best players in terms of, you know, KD, KDA. He's like top 10 in our league right now, and you know, Forsaken is like top 5 ACS, but he's not up there for KD. So in terms of the impact that Devi has, I think so far he has maybe been their best player, and to not have him in here, you know, whether it be as the IGL or just as a very good initiator. Texture, again, he has just been absolutely nuts the second half. He has the lockdown, by the way. There's no Hunter's Fury for Forsaken to shut this down. So this is a really good opportunity here for GE to get a plant down, get set up, you know, get ready for this retake, as CGRS has no response to this. He has to just peace out.
And at that point, your only option is Paper X. Only so many spots that you can come from, and GE are reading them in full. The book is open, the pages are flipped. SK Rossi now looking for destruction. A second frag, holding off mid as well. We've got Monyet with a Viper's Pit, but CGRS just walks right in. He's able to do a little bit more damage, a bit of a wide swing.
flash there to make sure that the end of that round was clean for GE. Just picture perfect. Batsy's been playing so good the last couple weeks. GE looking dialed in.
Peak performance is what Paper Thin is saying.
That's right.
I mean, look at this now. Paper X has no choice but to go into the force. They don't get this round. It's basically game over. SK Rossi, so aware of this. And he's trying to be a little bit more careful. Oh my god! Something up in the air! A triple kill CGRS Forsaken that came out of nowhere! What?
Unbelievable. Please show me the Mumbai crowd reaction on that. That was absolutely nuts.
That is animal!
I don't even know. I mean, that is as fast as it gets. I mean, it is nothing but heads. This is outrageous. 1, 2, 3. Unbelievable. He doesn't miss a single one.
Oh my god.
I mean, they're lined up a little bit, but jeez Louise.
I forgot today. His name just might be something. Ilya Petrov. 11-7 now, and Paper X finds their second win. 4 more rounds to make it even. But again, a single mistake, and it's going to be match point with SK Rossi. He wants revenge. He's got the offer.
Paper X does have enough money for one more. Yeah, Rossi not able to connect on this one. Still probably a little bit of adrenaline flowing, but it's okay. Texture's good for the opener again. Just the way that he pushes and pulls.
Set up by Botsy. And now Paper X trying to react off of this. They will be able to hold. Mindfreak not checked. Monyet gone. And then the rest comes in. We have numbers. Please play together off of this. But no! Forsaken gets a little bit curious and he gets punished for it. The cat has been killed. Something still trying to pull off miracles on his own. You can't do this alone. Surely previously you could have. But now you're completely surrounded. FBI, open up. He has no idea. Texture will be able to delete him. Spike now being delivered over to the A site. Jing has to be the one. The miracle, the Kingmaker. It's not going to happen today. Global wants this win. They want match point. SK Rossi with the blade, the right click. Mindfreak is the only one left.
Oh man, I mean, this is just absolutely insane. Even when it looks like Paper X might be able to recover, they might be able to stabilize. You know, they get the kill on Monyet, and then it all starts to fall apart. You know, something overextends.
Whoa.
Textures. Fury, you've got a Viper's Pit, you've got some tools to work with, no ult available, and the battle goes poorly for something. He doesn't die at least.
Oh god. Good bit of damage on both sides, but still. Star duelist now. Maybe a bit of refuel from both sides. Monyet gets to do so much more because of the Sage nerfs now, and Jing way too far away. Viper's Pit is the only thing that's preventing Global from pushing to A. Trying to get a little bit more information, but we're also peeking so much, and that is so risky. It does not pay. Pays for Global. 2 players gone. Continue to push forward.
Enemy kill.
Okay.
Good start. That's big. The toxic screen is going to come through mid here. So, or excuse me, not the toxic screen. That's the high tide from Aaron. And he is just trying to cut off the center of the map here, trying to obscure the movement of GE, who is looking for flanks. They're checking to see if anybody's pushing the extremities of the map. Nobody is for Paper X. They're very spread out in a 2-1.
I mean, they can't, right? If they do, they get punished.
30 seconds
Now
left.
Global are just playing off this safely. They're covering all bases. Anyone who pushes into A, they will be able to overwhelm with the setups from Botsy. That's why Mindfreak is positioned so defensively back up on top of Rafter. There's now 15 seconds left to get the spike plant. CGRS does get a bit of information, but Mindfreak has to know
10 seconds
that
left.
he's alone here.
Last player
Monyet and
standing.
Aaron, oh my goodness!
Welcome back, VCT Pacific fans. We're live at the desk as we have just wrapped up map 1 relatively quickly.
I was gonna say, wasn't that long since we were sat back here on this desk previously. Pretty damn fast map, especially at the very beginning. Things were pretty rapid fire pace here, but a 13-7 in the end ends up being a pretty clean closeout here from the side of Global, only dropping one round once they had swapped sides.
It was crazier from Global Esports. They really turned it on. The Paper Rex, look, they leaned into the chaos, not even necessarily having their standard IGL come into this. Crazy agent composition. and it backfired. It did not work. They were not able to make the chaos work. Global Esports looks so good. Rossi totally on fire here.
Yes.
And I think that we're going to have to see Paper X go back and really revamp their approach.
I mean, I would have to double check it, but I just saw it at the corner of my eye. I'm pretty sure 0 first kills.
Oh,
like
was that
GE
right?
had-
Great show, and thank you everyone for watching and supporting us. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you all for Watchparty.
This pick down, and really, I mean, something, he gets this nice board position, but it's all about Forsaken holding down the rear wing, keep this lane from SK Rossi down. Finds it, pick, falls from the second one, gets the camera. Forsaken then goes on to take over the rest of this round with 5-4 game. It was a great countdown. Unfortunately, though, for the subject Rex, he was fairly short there. This is a moment that they desperately needed, the kind of impact like they very much looking for something bouncing forward, amplifying one that story sequence. But then, it looked out was there. Small points are on Forsaken. Something not going to be known for his solo ideas, his difficult, most of all time, so it has not been really as much as things like Gold, Chad, etc. So a little lesser known thing from him, but quietly, pretty decent at the beginning. Unfortunately, wasn't able to find one back when he got to that.
Yeah, it just wasn't. And I guess it's called it out when you were on the attack side of the race. I mean, they were still nice and executing X5 and things like that. But again, the depth of it wasn't there, especially when they went on to the defensive side. I was talking about that second half.
Second half, especially because Tasteless Global Esports actually wins both bonuses, both in the first half and then later on in the second half as well in round 15.
Yeah, this was, again, a moment where, for now, the scores were fairly even, and this looked like it should have been a pretty easy round for Paper X to try to clear out. Ultimately, Global Esports came through. They slipped right in underneath Tube, got the plant set up over here. Crazy moment. Texture really starts to pop off. There's a moment where it looks like, for a little bit, Paper X is going to be able to come back here, stabilize, especially with the plays of Jing, taking out Bazium and Yet. But Texture with the first kill here, and then just a beautiful closer. And against, of all people, something with the spray right through the smoke, getting the kill, and winning that. And from there, they just started to compound the advantage. They got win after win after win. And what started out looking a little bit one-sided, then became kind of even, then closed out. Overall one-sided with win after win after win. It was really cool to see.
I mean, the problem was, like, while they did have this nice 5-round run back at the very beginning of that first half there, a 6-6 scoreline is not enough to get you out of the woods when it comes down to starting on attack on Icebox. We see how attacking-sided that map has been the past from multiple teams. So going in perfectly evened up at 6-6, and then also not being able to win a single one of these pistol rounds, it ends up coming back to bite you in a pretty severe way, because the defending side very much was crumbling. I mean, GE was getting away with a hell of a lot more than they probably should have. But they were just coming up with some of these miracle wins. I mean, again, that bonus round in the second half, they should have never been able to convert that one going into it with just a Marshall, a Spectre, and a bunch of classics. But they managed to make it happen, and it's just this disjointedness that continues for Paper X that is just the bane of their existence in the lobby right now.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a perfect combination on the side of Global Esports, right? Both in terms of composition, their strats, and then, of course, some of these heroic moments. But then on the side of Paper X, I mean, you didn't even have too many of those. to really kind of bring you back into the game. Now, earlier we were talking about SK Rossi obviously performing very well here. Texture put up some numbers as well, but Rossi, we want to take a look at kind of how he's performed so far. Only 2 maps played. Obviously, he just got into Seoul a couple weeks ago, but a massive improvement already.
But both of them were on Icebox, and I think you really can kind of see how big of a trajectory shift this is, because he was playing against Talon in the first map.
Yes.
And granted, and Talon was able to push them a little bit harder when it comes down to Icebox, but when you think about the caliber of team and what they've been able to do so far in Pacific, you definitely rate Paper X way above. So for him to be able to come out like this in his second ever map in Pacific, drop 25, be right there alongside Texture neck and neck. I think Texture maybe getting around 21 kills for himself, maybe slightly more by the very end. It was just damn impressive. And you see this massive jump, a plus 50 differential between these. As far as the damage per round is considered, he was having a whale of a time on this map. I do want to go back and cover my rear because it was not 12-0, it was 12-8, so significantly closer in first kills. My mind saw a circle, and I was like, oh, that's a 0, rather than noticing that it's 2 circles stacked on top of each other. But it was Rossi who was leading the charge in that regard, 5 and 2 as far as first kills, first deaths.
Yeah, I mean, Rossi just performed really well, and it's kind of building up to the hype that everyone's had around this guy.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, look, when we saw his performance against Talon, it was good, but it was also a little bit lukewarm, right? We're thinking, okay, well, I mean, is this what is going to bring? It's just what's going to bring global esports the glory that we kind of expected them to have.
Sure.
But he looks to be in incredible form. You know, he seems to be very comfortable, very, I don't know, relaxed in what he's doing, and I think that this is showing a lot of promise overall for them.
All right. Now, before we move on, obviously, we talked a lot about Global Esports and how they've won. We talked about Texture's win there, SK Rossi stats, but I think everyone's going to remember one certain clip from this match. We have to point this out, right? On the side of Paper Rex,
This is so cool here from Something, and this is where Paper Rex is truly an inspiration. The problem is, and so look at this. We got to slow it down. Boom, boom, boom. Every head goes down. I'll do it one more time.
I mean, that's how we all felt watching it, right?
It was very cool. But again, you could have a play like that where you shoot up and get shot right back down and look like a fool. If these aggressive plays are going to win you the games, they have to work every time. And it does seem like overall, with Global Esports, they are able to shut that down enough to then control the map itself.
And again, it's the mechanical ability is there. It's never been in doubt for any of the players on Paper X. They don't pick up bad players who don't have good mechanics. That's been clear. I mean, even CGRS in his own right was looking pretty decent here. You know, I think he ends up going pretty much +0, so net neutral.
Yeah.
But the mechanics are there. They just haven't been able to fine-tune it and really hone it into a strategic.
Just really starts to feel like perhaps, I mean, Paper X, they're understanding that their own style, that part's fine, right? The going in, going for the trades, going in as 5, but then just kind of this macro style, what do we need to change? It seems like they're maybe still experimenting. We talked about this in the opening taste, as you mentioned. Now you don't really have that much more time to experiment anymore here in VCT Pacific.
Well, and it seems like even with this round, or this map we just went into, it was experimentation. It did seem to be a little bit labbing. They did not have the solution. They obviously did not come out with that first win. And the results of this tournament are beginning to cement. So they need to figure out what works and probably stick with that. Otherwise, look. But they are in a bit of a tumultuous period, especially consider the reputation they had and the expectations that a lot of fans had for them coming into this.
I like that you brought that up, because I think that's something important to note, is that obviously as we entered these partnered leagues, it's important to note that a lot of teams are kind of looking at this long term, right? Really build up kind of our style, our roster, and that's great to see. However, there's also, for a team like Paper X, this reputation that you're probably going to go to Masters. We'll probably see you again at Champions, and you might be running out of time here to cement that result. We'll have to see how they do here on map 2 on Split.
Yeah, I mean, and to the opposite side, Global is one of those teams that kind of came in as an experimentation, mixing things up, having all these different nationalities, all these different languages spoken, making these players common English. That was kind of seen as, okay, this could end up being a long-term project. Maybe they don't make it into the playoffs the first year, or maybe they make it to the playoffs, but they can't qualify for an international event. You know, but if they stick with this core, they should be able to develop them over time. They've already been able to do that now in a very rapid amount of time. So to come into this with the expectations, the accolades backing you, and then lose to this team that should be taking more time to develop, that also hurts that much more. We do have another veteran face, though, from the side of Paper Rex stepping back in as Divide will be subbed in for CGRS.
Oh, and it looks like we've got a changeover from Global Esports as well. Somewhat expected, given how, the
Fully
competition that they played. Most likely going for the Rays as your main duelist here on Split, so Lightning Fast will be coming in. Had a pretty decent debut last week. I mean, his kill score line wasn't the highest, but the way he was playing, the way he was creating space and buying time for his teammates was quite spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with the swap out there from PRX, and I welcome this one here, bringing Lightning Fast in and replacing Ski Rossi. I mean, let's see what happens, but right now, I think Paper Rex, they're going to have to really step it up, and I think they cannot play a game like the last one we just saw. They got to be a lot more coordinated.
Yeah, I'm curious if Paper Rex are going to alter anything as far as what their composition looks like, and looks like for the most part, no, it's just going to be this double duelist going in here. So we'll see. This is more pressure now on Lightning Fast, having to be that solo impact duelist player going for these entries. We saw him have a couple fumbles. He died to his own paint shells the one time because he ended up getting vulnerable from a snake bite. So we'll see if those things get cleaned up. But you obviously do always need to respect Jing and something when they are playing these duelist roles. So I think that there's a little bit of added pressure on Lightning Fast's shoulders compared to the previous series, but this has been a very strong map for Global. We've now seen it from them twice. They're 1-1. That one loss that they did suffer, it was 15-17 the scoreline to DRX. It's still incredibly hard fought, and that was with their previous roster, with Vronsky having to be a mainstay before they got their Indian players out here. So I'm curious to see how Paper Rex matches up and whether or not they're going to be able to take away their opponent's map pick.
All right, well, we're getting ready for Split. Let's head into the map with our casters up on stage. It's Quacker Thin.
Yes, thank you, Will. It's Quacker Thin. This is really hard to cast.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. I picked Paper X to win today too. It's okay. I feel
you did.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I actually did.
We have to believe.
I'm not so. I don't believe it. I don't know if I do anymore. I mean, look,
we're playing, of course, but
yes. But dude, I mean, GE is just so good right now, and no matter who is playing duelist or whatever, it seems like they've got players that are always stepping up. Monyet on this Split map, he's been absolutely destructive. Opening with an ace on the pistol round last time, right? So are we going to see something like that again here from them? They're so good at this map. They're so confident. Batsy was all over the place last time. By the way, PRX has beaten GE. Yes.
That's like.
Yes, that was a long time ago. That was 2021. I was there. I was a part of this. It was the 2021 lock-in.
It's been a while
for APAC.
Things have changed.
No,
let's be honest.
I don't think I was casting that game.
But again, you have to make this double duelist composition work. If not, it just might be it. Global, playing it safe.
I want to give a huge shout out. Now, we have been just absolutely singing the praises of SK Rossi. Well deserved. We've been singing the praises of Texture. Well deserved. Batsy deserves a lot of credit on that previous map. He had 21 assists. His flashes were so on point. Every time GE wanted to do something, it was off the back of Batsy. Yep.
And if you remember, the same thing happened last week. He was the one who clutched out around, but now here comes Paper Rex. They are looking to W gaming up towards a ramp, but nope. They got stopped by the grenade from Lightning Fast.
The protocols there are great. The reaction from the utility is beautiful. And now, they're going to lose that fight, though. What a push from Something and Jing, but a great reaction from Monyet with the pull. The grenade and the flash from Batsy in combination to buy time. And a headshot doesn't matter. Mind Freaks is better.
Just able to continue W keying forward. They might be able to dish out a little bit more, but keep in mind here, Mind Freak and Something are down to red HP. A single shot will do the trick, but a single headshot from Something will dish out damage as well. Monyet now coming up from behind. They finally get that information. Swaps over to a Ghost. I don't know if that's going to be as good, though, because Mind Freak has the off angle. And to start off the pistol round, just to clean up our mistakes from the previous map, Paper X wins the first pistol.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a different Paper X than we saw in the previous. I mean, I think with Divide there, with a real kind of caller who can sort of control the chaos, I don't mind chaotic play.
Orchestrate the chaos.
Exactly. It's like, trying to conduct like a modern, a modern opera or something.
Jazz.
Yeah, jazz, yeah, exactly. It's like improv jazz or something. There's got to be somebody there leading the traffic, or else, it just sounds like random noise.
You're going to get a traffic jam if it doesn't work out.
Yes.
Well, so far so good, and we do have Mindfreak Devi actually on the Viper lurking towards middle. He will be able to catch some rotations
Oh,
on,
he
but
pulled
only
off.
one. Monyet answers back with a classic shot of his own.
Devi thought he had the kill. Yeah. Devi, he transferred there. I think he thought he had it.
It's Spectre.
It's not as good as a Phantom.
Tough to control. I hate it. But on to the next. We do have a lot of information to work with. PaperX, they are going to be holding down these angles, but look at this great Nebula. It just gives them enough coverage to sneak on over to the backside of Pillar. Still firing blind shots though. PaperX Forsaken will be able to find 2 before the rest of the squad cleans up.
Yeah, that's a really great play off of that smoke. Just to kind of take that angle where you know that they kind of have to come through, so they keep their vision obscured from the enemy. Talk about GE here when they're trying to come in, and you can just line those shots up. That's easy peasy. So really well thought out, and drawn up there for PaperX. And I thought for a moment that countdown it was too quiet. You know what I mean? Like I didn't hear like knives or players jumping around, and so I'm like, wait. Don't be a tech timeout. Don't be a tech timeout. Okay.
This early? Nah, I can't.
I will, bro. Ooh, texture there just cuts Jing down. I mean, I think you're seeing that, PaperX is trying to turn up the tempo here. I think they're trying to see if they can just bully GE out of this map.
I don't know. GE does not seem like the kind of team that will stand down. They will not be bullied. They will continue to contest and resist any sort of push coming through. Look at how they're actually positioned up on the B site. Look at how Lightning Fast actually has the position to rotate back over onto mid. Botsy might be taking some shots right now, but it's not that big of a deal.
Got to go over to Texture to get healed up. I mean, he took a ton of damage. So it's not too bad. Lightning Fast is probably, but I don't know if they're fully aware that the push there from something.
All right, sneaks back up though. Does look like PaperX is pretty adamant on hitting this B site. Maybe trying to pull off a little bit of a rotational fake, but Global's not biting. They have a lot of information across the map.
That kind of position there from something just sold this B hit. This Batsy's flash didn't connect.
And now they have no idea that he's above them. Mindfreak suddenly pushes along with this, and with the Nebula covering off defender spawn, PaperX will have the B site delivered to them. 3 players with rifles up on top though, and they are trying to find a couple of picks. Look at how PaperX is positioned though. Look at how they're holding back sight. This is going to be a tough wall for Global to break through.
Yeah, you got one flash. That's it to get this job done. And there's the flash to buy up time and get a kill. Yeah, great counter flash.
Botsy still not backing down though. A sudden double, but Devi will say that it's lights out. This time, we have PaperX winning the bonus.
On their attacker side on Split, now yes, in recent history, Split has been a much
defender side,
more balanced map, with the adjustment that a lot of teams are taking double duelist and that kind of thing. But it's Devi here on the clutch, already coming back in and already having value. Find 3 kills in this round. The guy is so critical in these situations. I mean, yes, there's a flank there that's very difficult, but still, or not a clutch, but he had a important kill there at the end. And that's what you're looking for. I mean, again, Devi, I can't stress this enough. I was very, very shocked to not see him in that first match.
Here he is, though.
Yes.
Of course, Salama Harry to everyone who is celebrating, but now back into it. 3 rounds on the board for PaperX Global. Off of a save. It does not look like they'll be doing much this round. Maybe a little bit of a push. If they can find Devi, that will be huge. But then again, Phantom Spray, maybe not set up by Botsy this time, but okay, we're just gonna triple peek this and it works.
I jinxed Devi.
It's all fault here.
It is, yes. That's an upgrade for Texture. It's gonna have that Phantom. They're gonna try to cut through these Seekers and try to limit the information, but one of them does get into the back, so that is gonna reveal.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, that defender spawn position.
I'm still worried. Because Global still has the potential to just call drive through. Nonetheless, PaperX holds the right angles, and with this combination, Jinx something, they will be able to frag. What a flick! On Steroids Garage, and we just, walk into Texture's crosshairs for the time being, but lovely bit of movement from Mind Freak. We have the swing, we have Phantom. We will be collecting on that 4th win.
Yeah, Mind Freak's just in a great position there. He's able to take that angle much tighter around that corner, and with texture out in the open like that, has a pretty good advantage. So nice done. 6-0 here from Mind Freak. So another player that we've been wanting to see step up for Paper X, and he had some good starts, or a good start in the previous map. Here today, it's been much better, I would say.
Much better. And of course, like we mentioned as well, it's just Divide coming back in. Perhaps that is the secret ingredient, because Divide, if we notice, is actually playing Viper, something that he is not, we're not so used to seeing him on. He normally would be on the Sky, but perhaps with Benkai subbing out, this is kind of the different Paper X that we're seeing now. Divide calling the shots, maybe bring some organization to that chaos that we normally love to watch, but back into this, it's clear that Global, there are a little bit of gaps. I mean, that previous round that we saw with something actually on the bonus going up mid, something that Global definitely wasn't expecting.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's, you can see that Paper X was very able to kind of shake off that last map. There's little lack of confidence in this team. Radesh touched on it, that the individual ability is never in doubt with any of these players. It is just coordination at times. It's just a matter of, again, like we talked about, managing the chaos. I'm all about it. I love WK Gaming. That's when they're at their best, is when they're able to WK on their enemies. But sometimes they get red. Sometimes they start to kind of fall apart. Sometimes they're not there to play off of each other. And you can't consistently win, battles against the top players in the world. It is, you can do it sometimes, of course, but not all the time.
Yeah, a little bit of a 50-50 hit or miss. But we still do have Global looking for their first win on the map so far, getting a lot of information. Batsi with the Seekers will be looking to delay the push, even going along with a spray from Monyet, and will be able to do a little bit more damage. Now a third perhaps, but something answers back in full. A quick double, and then the tailwind and up trap over onto the other side. Lightning fast, just wrapping around the pillars. He's going back and forth. He's looking for the last one, and it's going to be something's head. Texture pushing along with this now. A heal to top him off, just to buy time. Not going to pull out utility. That's something that we're repeating a lot for Paper X these days.
Well, it's part of their MO right now, right? It is something, whenever he wants the op, he's allowed to get it. It's part of their plan, is to let the players do what they're comfortable with. Let them, play the way that they succeed, and that has worked at times and it hasn't at others. So it looked good to start, right? Our first match was something. It looked great.
I mean, they're approaching this round differently now. They're expecting that paint shells to be thrown by Lightning fast, and they're holding and delaying the push, and now it strikes Forsaken with the up instead. He's going to find one pick, but not before more pushes come out of Global. Something will be able to find a bit of damage, but Aaron trades. And then Flares spike down. Ooh, but Jing was prepared for that shot. He's got the showstopper as well.
30 seconds left.
I mean, Monyet there tried to set up Aaron for that kind of unexpected play. Jing not fooled even a little bit. He takes the knife out at the wrong time, though. Oh, no,
just
the timing.
We're just jump peeking. It's okay. It's okay. We're good. Global. We still have Batsi on the other side, but of course, guiding light on the side of Forsaken as well. Maybe a little bit of team blind, but Showstopper is actually buying so much time. Fires off the shot. Monyet starts to peek. Gets the first one from the back. But Forsaken plays off contact and trades. Tries to just needed to land that micro flick, and he does.
I was going to say, surely PRX doesn't push this Viper's Pit. Like, you guys watched what happened to Talon last week when they tried to do it, right?
No.
That's bad. Batsy down. That's a key piece of this puzzle. A good push out by Lightning Fast here. You see this a lot with GE, where they like to use that wall.
A lot of sudden aggressions, and it does pay off dividends.
Oh, Jing.
Then the double satchel, the push forward from Garage. Aaron trying to respond. The Viper's Pit will be dropped. He's a little bit paranoid that someone might be coming from the back, but not where he expects. It's going to be Lightning Fast shuts Jing down instead. Spike might be planted now, but this is still an even fight.
See that Paper X wants to clear out Heaven here. Based on this plant position, it's right by that door. Here comes the ult.
Oh, one showstopper, that could end it all. Lightning Fast clears. He's maybe anticipating that they're behind Garage. Almost shot towards Heaven. That's where the contact plays comes out. Guiding Light, careful peeks, biding time. But Forsaken's back exposed. Lightning Fast is stuck under Hell. Mindfreak pulling them in with the gravity well, not allowing them to get the defuse. And there it is, a sudden quadra. Mindfreak is back, ladies and gents.
That's so well played here by Mindfreak. So well thought out by Paper X. Such an uncharacteristic plant spot right by that door. And it completely makes GE think that somebody's in the alley. That has to be where he's going to come from. But no, Mindfreak still got the utility to delay. A great entry here by Jing. You know, one of the other things that has been talked about with these two players is, with Jing and Forsaken in this case, is who's going to be able to out-blast pack the other. You know, the Des talked about it with Lightning Fast. He had some struggles. Jing is the better blast packer. Jing is the best blast packer in Pacific. I'm just going to say it. He is. He is the best blast packer.
He has got a lot of highlights.
No doubt about it.
Oh, okay. We've seen this before. Toxic screen to triple peak, but Paper X is prepared for it. They will be able to spray forward, taking off 3, 4 players, 5. The Vi. Last one goes to him, 6-2 global. Nice attempt. Doesn't work out this time.
As the EMEA casters say, blink and you miss it. That one.
I kind of blinked on that one.
Did you?
No, I'm kidding.
Well, how dare you blink that? Oh my God,
no,
I don't know.
My eyelids are taped open, paper thin.
Yeah,
you have no idea.
We've had these situations before where we've had to, you know, pry our eyelids open on this.
Not with this series.
No.
Not with the next series either. But here we go. Operator back in hand out. Again, Texture, Sentinel, Operator, and he's looking for an early pick.
Yeah, he doesn't have any support here, so this has to be very good. But, I mean, Mindfreak might have a decent read on this. He does. He knew. He read that like a book.
Not quite the safe position that Texture was hoping for as well. A little bit of an aggression towards mid, but then suddenly double session back. Well, maybe not double, but back in towards sewers and back into A. Bit of a guiding light, and Aaron is looking to put a stop to this. He's calling for backup, but of course Monyet's kind of trapped up, but look at this positioning! Shut down by something up on top of Heaven. Paper X have got them completely surrounded, but Aaron still able to delete players away. He's got support from Basi as well, right underneath things nose. But guess what's happening on the other side of the map?
Yeah, I mean, this is just Mindfreak just kind of chilling on the other side of the map there, getting some big kills in the last couple of rounds here for the side of Paper X, and now they know, sights open, and the retake here, challenging at best.
Yeah, you might want to save.
No doubt. I mean, this is 100% the right move here for GE. It is just too risky with the way that their economy is to go for this. You can see literally Texture 0 credits, 50 for Aaron, 150 for Monyet. So, yeah, you got to save these guns because you're going to be able to get a couple more in the next round. And you need to stabilize here as GE. They've been great on this map. Phenomenal on this map.
Playing the long game. And you have to consider that they are starting on defense as well.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal on this map previously. Today it hasn't been so good. But GE, this has been the map that, as I think, impressed all of us the most. Yeah. With the way that the level of competition that they've been able to bring. But that also opens them up to some reads here. In Paper X, again, there's no fear in this Paper X team. They are perfectly content to just send it at you and they react so well to things. Like, look what happened with Lightning Fast. He tries to sneak in that corner of the Cosmic Divide, and they just perfectly react to it.
That's why I'm really curious, truly, if that was a call made by Divine. The sub mid-round adaptation to maybe pull a bit of a fake on A and then actually send the spike over to B. It was perfect. On to this next round, though. Mindfreak starts things off with a bit of a spray. There is still a triple push coming through, though. Something checks the off angle, will be to find one. Mindfreak peeks back again, gets deleted. Now they're fully aware that there is a weapon lost to Global.
Yeah, they saw 3, so they know that A's the weak side here. Yeah, they know A's the weak side. Texture just trying to buy a little bit of time. Something gonna up and over the slow orb. And now Texture able to dodge the Trailblazer. Wants to think about putting up a wall. Something continuing to pressure in, but Batsy didn't check the corner. Jing able to get the trade though.
That's gonna be Heaven kind of lost. Jing drops down to Hell. They're looking for the spike plant. The Texture still a thorn in there. Sides up by Elbow, goes for the peek, gets shut down by Divide. A quick double, and that leaves Monyet alone. Jing has full control now, and he's waiting for the angle. Monyet just pushes into him, though.
Certainly not.
14 HP.
14 HP? Certainly not.
How is this happening? He's dropped. They have to anticipate that he's going back into Elbow.
Oh my God.
Oh no! Not watching the angle at the right time, but Forsaken, thankfully, caught unaware. That is going to be 8-2.
Well, that felt like it was going to be in a Monyet clutch for a moment there, but he
Almost.
turned away. Yeah, he
what?
had to check that corner. Yeah,
It's not Monday.
I know. That's Victoria was saying that. She's like, it's not Monday, and I was like, you're right, it's not. Half the time, I don't know what day it is, but
it's Valorant Day. It's Valorant
exactly. I know it's Valorant Day. I know I got to be at
VCT
work.
Pacific Day. Yes,
That's right. Which
Still,
is fine. That's where I'd rather be.
2-8, and that's gonna be Global. Still desperate to find a bit more of a win. I mean, it kind of worked out. There was that poison orb in his face. Might have gone really wrong if someone was on the other side.
Yeah, but then you don't. There's no TikTok reel for that one. So I don't know, man. Yeah, exactly. We got it. I mean, but that's the thing with Jing. Like, if he can get those openings like that, get those kills, that does kind of, really put GE on the back foot. It does like mental damage as well, right? They're already so far down in this map. It's 8-2 already. And if he's able to just get an opening like that, then that's gotta hurt. That's gotta feel bad when you know it's coming.
Well, now you know. Seekers will confirm it. Something pushing in with a sortie. And inside of the Nebula, Monyet will not survive. Shotgun to shotgun it. We're back into a contest towards the A site. Viper's Pit now up by Paper Rex, but look at how deep this one goes. It might cover off a bit of screen, but you need to block off Elbow. Jing has Heaven under control, and this is his domain. This is where he will be able to find a little bit more. Paint shells through. Last one's gonna be Aaron. Continues to hold down the spray and commit to it. Allows for Jing to actually sidestep, gets the headshot, 9-2.
I mean, that's just Jing just playing so well there. Just reading the angles perfectly, reading the timing of Texture trying to push up ropes. That's everything you want out of Jing. Even though the blast back off the rip doesn't go well, it's okay. He's going to make up for it and then some here.
I have to be a little bit honest here, Paper.
Yeah, go ahead.
It kind of looks like, well, I'm curious, but is Aaron possibly not able to read what Paper X is throwing at them? It looks like he's kind of delayed, and he used those Seekers to really confirm information, but by the time they wanted to react to it, Paper X is already all over the A site.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that, the tempo and the style here is vastly different than what we saw in Icebox from Paper Rex. And I think Aaron was able to, sometimes if you get in that flow, you get in that momentum, you're reading your opponent so well, like we saw in the second half of Icebox, with Aaron, that can mess with you a little bit if the ideas and the thought process change so drastically. Whoa. Oh my God, something again. Dude, these Blade Storms have been absolutely nasty.
Speaking of drastic, I mean, how do you read what can't be read? How do you read chaos? Maybe Monyet can. Maybe he is that anchor that Global are looking for. Inside of his Nebula, he peeks out. Oh my God, a sudden 90-degree flick.
No way.
Sprays through one, he's still alive. How is he doing this? Mindfreak, Indonesian controller versus Indonesian controller.
It's on for the ace.
M versus M. He is down really.
bad, guys. We can do this. And you're right, the mental changes. You're much more confident, especially off the backs of plays like that. So, and now, you know, you may not have that double duelist, you know, that you're seeing from the side of Paper Rex, but if Lightning Fast has cleaned up some of his blast backing, some of his entries, you know, we don't have a little bit of whoopsies with paint shells, then this could go well, I think.
Or entirely possible. Are we invoking the curse right now, Paper Thing?
No, we don't believe it.
You don't believe the curse. Okay.
No.
I mean, I do think this is still a little bit more comfortable for Paper X, but if they start to get a little bit complacent with this, it's gonna hurt. Like, well, what the match key is, it's really eat or be eaten at this point. Global are desperately looking for the win. They are looking to climb up in these standings. Whereas on Paper X's side, they might be able to afford some losses. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's also not the best. It's so dangerous right now.
Yeah, if you're going to compete for one of those top 2 spots, you know, to get the buys in the playoffs, then Paper X has to win this match, basically. Because you already have Genji and DRX who are squaring up next, both undefeated so far. Of course, somebody will lose a game, but still, they're both pretty far ahead. And so therefore, you know, for Paper X, you know, to keep up with that pace, this is a huge, you know, a huge game. And then, like you said, for GE, almost feels like not a must-win, but very close to. You would love to get this win because then you can really start thinking about playoffs. You can really start saying, okay, we can go head-to-head with this, you know, explosive, high-powered Paper X squad. You know, they've come close to taking maps off of DRX. You know, there's no doubt that GE has the potential.
Talking about Lightning Fast versus Jing. Also have Monyet versus Mindfreak.
Yes.
We have to say Monyet so far has been performing fantastic.
And Mindfreak too. Both have had really good maps.
So here it comes, and that's going to be the paint shells. The frenzy from Aaron will be able to destroy. 2 players gone. A bit of an exchange. Something just hold up and prepare to receive. Instant tailwind back. But surely you have to prepare for ramps, and he finds only 1 shot. Mindfreak's the only one left. Talked about him. He has to show up right now.
Well, I mean, Aaron with the frenzy, name a more iconic duo. The guy's just been absolutely disgusting with them. He's a big part, frankly, of why their pistol rounds have been so one-sided for GE. And it looks like they might get another one. Now, if Mindfreak checks this angle, if he can get this first win, that's the first piece of the puzzle.
Right. What's the second piece? Maybe he's got to find them, but look at how they're holding this. A bit of a crossfire position. Spike down, and as soon as he taps it, both of them are going to swing outside of main. Holds it off, tries to fake it, but the double peek still secures it anyway. Like you said, Aaron, Frenzy, iconic duo.
Yeah, no doubt. There's something special about him with that gun. Him and RB. It's really impressed me with the Frenzy more than others.
Also, global and pistol win. Also iconic too.
Exactly. And again, it's stuff like this. You know, Aaron, you know, Monyet sometimes with a ghost, you know, things like that that are just so. They just said it. Frenzy God. Yeah. Absolutely, it's true. Aaron said something really funny to me before this match that I can't say on this thing. He cracks me up, dude. He's so funny. He's just got a great attitude. He came in today super confident.
Also a cracked player.
He's very good. And he you know, again, Icebox, you know, you could tell he was dialed in. He was reading things well. It was a tough side, but going up against that double duelist of Paper Rex is hard for anybody. We've seen the best teams in the world struggle against that.
A little bit more in control on the attacking side of anything, I think, because you get to be more active as opposed to being passive and reacting to whatever your opponents throw at you. You're throwing things at Paper Rex, and right now Paper Rex has to be the one to react accordingly to these plays. They hear so much utility being dumped up on towards A. I don't know if they can actually hold it down, though. Forsaken, only a classic in hand. Utility almost all spent. A guiding light refreshed now, but he's going to get spammed with util. And he's trying to hide, trying to stay corrected, but no. Spectre will still be able to run and gun through. Lightning Fast now on a rampage of his own. A quick double, a third. The blast packs will ring true for him. Something peeks out. So not quite finding the shot now. In fact, having a nade blown up in his face. Goes back towards screen.
That's what we wanted to see from Lightning Fast. Those were some great blast packs, some great accurate shooting right off the landings. Beautiful stuff from Lightning Fast. Find it, but nobody's given an inch. Now they're going to try to play off of that contact. Yeah.
Oh man, look at how Many of them are just holding down the angle and then for
And 14-6 for Mind Freak. I mean, that first half for Mind Freak was beautiful. This is so needed for Paper Rex.
the raises and the asterisks. But
Yeah.
something, I mean, Paper X, they have one thing that's different, and that's going to be the jet. Still, though, I'm just giggling at how he was drinking that sheriff earlier on.
Well, sometimes, you know, just trying to stay active, trying to keep the circulation going, you know.
And now trying to be a little bit more proactive on the B side, blocking off the push. But if anything, it's just Global actually baiting out util. In fact, rotating back forward now. Paper X won't have that much left.
G, I think, really wants somebody to push out from Paper X to see if they can get that pick, upgrade a gun, and then try to make their way through. But Paper X, I love the way they're playing. Nobody's, playing contact here. Jing can afford to get one and leave. Throw the blast pack.
Okay,
So good.
leave, please leave.
No, he doesn't need to. He dodged the flash.
All right, they might not be aware of it, but Mind Freak gets caught lacking. Asleep at the wheel, and that allows for Global to go in towards the B site. The only one there that can hold it off is something. Maybe backed up by Forsaken, and they will make it happen. Basi, the only one left, trying to pick up a different weapon as he has run out of ammo, but Forsaken will come in full set. 10-5, Paper Rex looking to close this one out.
Yeah, I mean, a great little micro play from Jing there at the ropes that, you know, he could play for the first kill, throws the blast pack to make sure they can't come up the rope, and because the flash goes so far past him, actually, because I think, you know, Batsy's expecting Jing to fall back, right? Nah, not Jing. He's got too much confidence. And therefore, you know, the flash doesn't connect enough that they can pressure him. They can re-aggress on him. So they have to change direction. Now, they're able to get a kill off of that, but the reaction there for Paper X, that round really well handled.
He is the guy to make that happen, but this round, we're getting a little bit greedy. Basi will punish that greed. Slaps your hand, get out of that cookie jar. You're not gonna steal anything here.
All I can think about is that stupid song.
Yes. Who took the cookie?
Oh my God. I hate that song, but now it's in my head. Thanks, Quack.
I'm sorry. I'm like smiling.
I know that this does not bother you at all that you put the most annoying song on the planet in my head. I can just tell. I have something about it. All right, here comes. Oh my God, I'm on yet.
And it works! Oh! A double, maybe the third. Basi goes in, but all right. Again, he's the guy who stops you from putting your hand in that cookie jar.
That's right.
Spike gets planted now, and maybe a little bit slow on the rotations. The crossfire has been set up. It's 2-on-3, and it's easy pickings for Lightning Fast and Texture. Davai tries to dance forward with this, though. Gets blinded for a second, tries to flush him out of position with a snake bite, but it doesn't go deep enough. Tries to spray with the Phantom, but... even with the ego to just go in and in again. But this time, you get peeked, and that's going to be the punishment from Basi. On to the next round now, and that's going to be Paper X trying to slow things down, trying to play some default defensive position. Zero information so far, though, because Global are pulling off a default of their own. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh my God. He's unbelievable. He just does not miss knives. He's just disgusting. It's just not even fair. You can't even peek against it. He's so fast.
He is something. We'll have the Poison Cloud back up on mid, though, and that allows for Jing to get a little bit adventurous with this, the double, well, one satchel, but Bazzi once more putting his foot down.
It's okay, you've got 2 heals, so you know you can afford to take a little bit of damage there.
And I think that's what Global are trying to do now. You know, expecting Paper X to push. Maybe Lightning Fast gets a little punished by that sudden peak from something, but
yeah, and you're right, they are. I mean, Paper X is pushing. Something's already in spawn. And, oh my God, he reads that. Devi though with the response. It's a kill. The Viper's Pit is gonna come up, and
okay.
Devi pushes right on the edge.
Down, 10 seconds left, and they have to stick it. Surely spraying through the Viper's Pit will connect some shots. He drops down, him, and he's gotten the round. Something doesn't even need to do anything anymore. No way you defuse. But Aaron is still fighting.
Not enough time though. Yeah, I mean it was just. I thought for a moment there maybe there was a world he gets that last kill, but I mean. Yeah, GE needs a timeout. They could not get that spike down. I mean, Devi just no respect for that Viper's Pit whatsoever.
I can't really tell or see it, but like something just like AFK'd in the last, like the moment Devi got the frag, he didn't do anything anymore. It's like, all right, we won. Look at that.
GG. Well, I think he was waiting at the edge. I think he was expecting that push out from Aaron potentially. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe there was a keyboard issue or something, but you know, I think he was expecting that push out. He just kind of guessed wrong on which angle Aaron would come out from.
We've gotten the round. One more is going to be match point, hence the timeout for Global. Looking to find a crack, a slip in Paper X's defense.
As usual, after party नहीं होने वाला है. So you want after the watch party, hopefully after the W, you will give for everyone.
Case, you know, they're not expecting Devi to just be right there to watch the edge of that Viper's Pit and then drop right down in and get another kill, and it's devastating.
Exactly. Some of those are really individual performances from Paper X, and we're seeing it on stats right now, all those kills on their side. Maybe this time, a little bit of a default perhaps, looking for some mid-round adaptation. We've seen this toxic screen, we've seen the Nebula up on top, but this time, we're just being blocked off by Devi.
They're trying to set up those fast kind of dissipates with the smokes, and Texture just barely able to react in time to that.
Overheating a little bit. Still, Mind Freak able to anchor down B. Gets the pull, gets the shot.
The way that Aaron's body scooted across the
Oh no.
I got the spike.
And this is a Global that's looking to make something work. The mid push, the B split. But information has been gathered and reacted to upon by Paper Rex. Jing now, the first shot, and then he goes for the chase. A second kill to secure the win, and Paper Rex have gotten match point.
Yeah, this is just good stuff here from Paper Rex, and they're reading the angles, they're finding the timings, and they are certainly looking like they're going to win this map. Tons of ults available for them. Jing with the showstopper, so does Lightning Fast. Maybe we'll get the showstopper joust here or something, I don't know. I would love that, but it doesn't look like it based on the map. Sadly, the Razes are on opposite sides, but you've got kind of the lightsaber duel over on A with the toxic screens. It does look like that, doesn't it? It does, yeah. It looks like Luke and Vader are about to fight over there.
Oh, may the force be with Global. They have to make this one work. They're looking to contest against it. Showstopper has been popped by Lightning Fast, and something is just waiting on the other side to land a mid-air shot. They continue to push forward, and it's a huge clash between both teams. Lightning Fast getting traded out now, and that's 2 players left on Global side. Mind Freak popping the Cosmic Divide just to allow for Jing to push through, but he gets taken down. And then Devi blocking them off from the spike.
Yeah, this is so smart from Devi. Knew the spike was down. Yeah, I mean, now you got to find some way with 0 utility to get through here. And you're going to have to trick Paper Rex on positioning. It is a 2v2. You've got that going for you. Bazzi's able to find a Vandal, but yeah, I mean, that's really tough to deal with right here, is those shorties.
He's just gonna sit in this Viper's Pit for as long as possible. If anything, Aaron comes up from behind, maybe he finds Mind Freak. I mean, maybe he finds Devi, excuse me, and then that could be the trick, but look at how Mind Freak's pushing deeper and deeper. Fozzie waiting for Aaron to go through the barrel. Oh, he kind of sneaked through, but Mind Freak gets the shot anyway. Not expecting him on the left side, and that's gonna be Aaron now. Wait, what?
Did he get through?
He did, he picked up the spike.
Oh
1
my
HP.
God.
He has to stick it now though. They're just trying to jump peek against him. Can he find a little bit of cover? He's gonna try to make it happen. Both of them dropping down, rushing in onto him, trying to play against his nerves, but Aaron going for the spray, he commits, but the spray does not connect. Devi with the triple, and Paper Rex 13-6, they claim map 2.
Yeah, so a great bounce back here for Paper Rex. So both teams taking their map picks away from each other, and I think a sigh of relief here for the fans in Singapore. This was definitely one that, you know, after that Icebox, I'm sure alarm bells were ringing, and now we can silence them, at least for now.
At least for now.
Yeah, at least for now. GE though, I mean, you know, the attacker side started good, but the defender side just, they, like you were talking about, they couldn't really get a read. They couldn't ever control the map. It just was like Paper Rex was just kind of going wherever they wanted, however they wanted. And again, it's just when Paper Rex is confident, that's when they're scary. And Mind Freak had one hell of a map. 20 kills, 8 deaths, 6 assists.
Finding his
Very
form
good.
again.
Yes.
He got some clutches. There was that 1-on-2 clutch that he won in a round. And of course, I mean, that's what this match summary is showing us, that Paper X confident, individual performance, everyone performed. Maybe Forsaken is the one assisting them this time, but we have 4 Paper X players on top of entire Global squad. Global definitely did try though. I mean, we saw some signs of greatness. We saw some rounds where they were trying to bait out utility from Paper X, but this is how Paper X plays. You know, it's very much 50-50. There are some rounds where they push out and they get punished by Bazzi, but some other rounds, not so much, and then it becomes a big question mark in the minds of, say, Aaron or the entire squad.
Yeah, to me, a lot of times, like, this sounds kind of basic to say, but they're often, like, really prepared for the angles that GE was taking. So they've done their homework. You know, they've seen what GE does on this map, how they approach it, what kind of positions they like to hide in, and it felt like almost every time, you know, Paper X was ready for it. So this is just a great performance from them, and you know, again, I think the rumor I was hearing off stage was that they were just kind of gonna go for it. It was confident. It was, you know, let's just literally W key. I mean, for lack of a better description, I'm not going to give away exactly what I was told, but
all
wasn't
aim,
too far
no
off.
brain, just go, just double key it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what we love to watch. But then, is that going to work every single time though? Because our next map is going to be Pearl. We'll let our desk handle that analysis. We're going to go for a quick break. Do not click that X on your browser. We're lurking towards the middle. We'll be able to catch some rotation. Nebula. It just gives them enough coverage to sneak on over to the backside. Nonetheless, Paper X holds the right angles, and with this combination, change something, they will be end up tailing an uptrap over onto the other side. Lightning fast, lightning time, but allowing them to get the DPs. And there it is before. Toxic Stream the triple peak, but hey, it might cover off a bit of stream. He will be able to find a little bit more. Paint shell through. Last one's gonna be Aaron.
No way.
Really low though, a single shot, but he's not looking the right direction. Surely you have to prepare for it, but no. Spectre will still be able to run and gun through. Lightning fast now on a rampage of his own. A quick double. And it works. Oh!
Viper's Pit is going to come up, and
Oh, he drops down. Oh! No way you... So, Mind Freak able to anchor down B.
Welcome back to the desk here at VCT Pacific. Just want to give a shout out to Riot for pulling up the start time starting this week, because we're already going to a Game 3 here in our first match of the night. Paper Rex and Global Esports. Paper Rex strikes back, and now we are heading for Pearl on map 3.
I mean, surprisingly, a similarly one-sided affair here. 13-7 for Icebox there. Global to take it away. Paper Rex, they bounce back, and they claim Global's map pick here on a split with a 13-6 win record. Really, overall, clean stuff, and clearly doing their homework, knowing how Global like to pilot this, and it's a fairly fast turnaround, only 1 week to prepare for this, given that it was a slightly different look with Lightning Fast coming into the lineup here, but they were very well able to be able to take down Global here on this map and kind of just read every single movement they were going for.
Paper Rex, they definitely turned it around. Again, I go back to map 1 and the unusual the setup they had as far as the lineup for the team, the fact they went for Gecko, and I thought, man, I'm really worried about these guys. Is this going to get completely out of control? You know, have they run out of ideas? But instead, they dialed it back. I think they stuck to their roots as well. They were consistently very aggressive, very explosive. Their initiations were excellent, and ultimately they came out on top.
Yeah, I think one thing that we can see just from here, obviously this screen, it always shows just the pure KD, the kill to death, but not a single person on the side of Global Esports going positive in terms of pure KD instead of KDA. Just goes to show that obviously Paper Rex kind of back in form in terms of pure fragging power. And then on top of that, there were a couple rounds where we could see kind of the ideas and minds behind Paper Rex really starting to come together once again. I mean, there was an excellent 2v2, Tasteless, that you were pointing out backstage where Paper Rex was able to close it out and get another win on the board.
Yeah, let's pull this one up on screen now. This little duel that we had over here, over at B, we saw the spike get planted over here just in front of the door, just in front of the entrance. And this in the past has not been as common of a spot to put the spike at. But what it does is it makes you very concerned about the alley and the fact that, you know, if you're going to try to go for a defuse, they can just pop out around the corner, get that kill pretty quickly. But in fact, it was a double stack up on top in heaven. And what they did really effectively is basically just milk the clock. They didn't come out, they didn't overexpose themselves, and they forced a scout all the way from Aaron down into the hall to then get the confirmation. Nobody's here. But by then it's almost too late. They just don't have that much time to work with. We see an attempt here on the first defuse. But again, there's just not that much time left. They pull it away with the gravity well, pop out again, get the kill, and there it is. An excellent tactical round there for PRX.
Yeah, it was really well piloted, and one of the biggest things was like being able to take away all of those guns just further crippled the economy from the side of Global Esports. So it made it that much more difficult for them to try to recover and get their way back in. I mean, it was a very devastating half.
Yes.
It looked like it was going to end up going 10-2. They were kind of lucky to scrape by with the 9-3 at the end of it all. I mean, mostly on the heroics of Munyet, which we'll see in a moment.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's
we'll
pull
just go
it
ahead
up
and
right
dive
away.
straight into it since we're on topic here. But yeah, I mean, Munyet, for whatever reason, he and Split just kind of go hand in hand. Granted, you know, even with the highlights that we'll see from here, is there's a nice entry from something, great movement, goes in, takes down Texture, takes minimal damage, and Munyet just continues to be an absolute beast of an anchor on the B site. But this was one of the few rounds where he was really able to find an insane amount of value. And while he does end up getting an ace at the end of this, by the end, he only does have, I don't think he gets any other kills after this, actually.
Yeah, I think he
ends with 13.
Yeah.
13 kills at the very end. So yeah, wasn't really able to find any additional value going into that second half on the attack. So things were definitely, he was definitely on struggle street. The whole team was here for the side of Global, which was unorthodox, just given the impactful performances that we have seen from them time and time again on this map. So again, big credit goes over to the side of Paper Rex for the way that they prepared for this map, fully anticipating it, leaving it open. They said, okay, we know that they're going to pick it. So it seems like they laid a really nice trap here for Global, and they stepped right into the snare.
Yeah, they just ran right into it. And the casters mentioned it as well, obviously kind of the pace and speed that Paper Rex brought. Didn't really give Aaron enough time to try to catch on to how do I want to get the reads over here against Paper Rex and things like that. But I also want to point out, we talked about Munyet versus Mindfreak when we were opening up the match today. And Mindfreak finally kind of putting up the type of performances that we have been expecting him to do for a long time.
Mindfreak has really stepped it up. It was one of the big things we were talking about as before we went into even map 1 is how is Mindfreak going to play? And he had a lot of moments that could have gone either way, and he really dominated, always getting those initial shots off, always able to control the site. And I think had he not been able to do this, we would have had either a very close PRX victory or possibly a Global Esports 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, this was the form that we want to see from Mindfreak. You know, you go back to the last time that they played on this map, you know, they were able to take some decent rounds away from DRX, but overall, it's still just, he wasn't finding value. His ADR was absolutely through the floor. It was so poor. This is a complete turnaround, a glow up here from Mindfreak, and this is what we want to see from this guy every single game. Didn't quite get it in map number 1, but here he comes out. He really helps guide the team forward across the finish line. He and Jing very much leading the charge in that regard as far as how much impact they can find. And this was just a fantastic performance to see, because after that first map, I really was in the camp of saying, like, okay, it's just going to be a 2-0 blowout. Global will have this one in the bag. A pleasant surprise to see that we are going to be going to a map 3, so now Pearl will decide who is going to be holding their heads high at the end of this all.
Yeah, and obviously Pearl, a map that both teams have kind of tinkered around with. Obviously on the side of Paper X, famously using the Phoenix. We'll see if that comes back into play again today as they face off against Global Esports. But Mindfreak, one word that you kept pointing out was impact, right? And it's not about just the number of kills, but the fact that he's getting these kills that really change the round and kind of transform how the rest of his team can play around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's these critical moments. It could go either way, and he's able to clutch it. And this is a relief to see, because this is a guy we had these huge expectations for coming into this, and we were worried, is he going to be able to actually calibrate to this environment and actually be able to take on these important moments? And he's done it. And I'm really glad to say that we have a 1-1 right now, and it's going to game 3.
Yeah, and the big question now is, do we see any more roster changes, right, going into Pearl? I think coming into Split, the changes on both sides were quite expected to a certain point in terms of the compositions they play and what they've shown before. But on Pearl, right, I mean, for instance, Jing, does he go back to the Phoenix and something continues to play the Jet? And then on the side of Global Esports, I mean, you still have Ronsky, who used to, play the first couple weeks as they only had those 5 players. Will he come back in? Also, SK Rossi, does he come back in for Pearl as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions, I think, mostly surrounding the global camp as far as what they want to do. I think for the side of Paper X, we're pretty much going to see exactly what we saw from them when they had last played this, which I believe was against T1, when they just kind of were able to really run them over. Again, that was T1 not being prepared at all for the aggression. That was Something's debut map when he was hitting some nasty shots, some crazy highlight plays when it came down to the Blade Storm. You think about that 3K he was able to pick up on the B site. So I'm expecting that to look a bit more of the same, unless they again want to try to throw a wrench in the preparation of Global Esports, and they very well could. But I think that for them, don't overtune it too much. There's been a little bit of experimenting already here today. Maybe it's time to go back to something that looks a little bit more stock standard. For the side though, I think for both teams, they have both come off of some decent victories as far as their most recent performances. PRX beating T1, Global beating Zeta as well with a 13-9 on Pearl in their last showing. So I think both teams are going to be feeling fairly comfortable on this map, and it's really going to come down to execution. But this, of course, is possibly going to be our first look at Global with Rossi on the lineup playing this map.
True, yeah. I mean, again, we only got SK Rossi on Lightning Fast into Seoul a couple weeks ago. Both of them only started playing the matches last week. So I think a lot of people still have question marks about what is your kind of final combination. Is it really just a per map basis? Is it a per agent basis? We're still trying to unpack the full package of Global Esports.
They got to bring Rossi back into this, in my opinion. I think it would be foolish to not try to utilize him. This has been a very interesting best of 3, in that there's been several times we're kind of surprised by who they've picked or who they've removed. I'm even kind of surprised they took Rossi out in map 2, to be honest.
It's just not going to be known for the Rays, which is considered quite an essential part. I mean, they could have Rossi and Lightning Fast go for a double duelist setup, but just given the setup, I mean, maybe now that they've had this loss under their belt, maybe Global will reassess how they actually decide to approach Split for future matches. Maybe they say, okay, you know what, teams are getting a read on us. We need to shake things up a little bit. Maybe that does end up being the adjustment. We'll have to just wait and see. For now, I'm waiting to get this camera to pan over across the opposite side, because I see Mindfreak, Divide, I see something, and it seems like Paper X not going to be going for any changes on their side of the arena. Of course, Jing as well.
Yeah, the cameraman was really waiting for that
I
last
know
spot. I was like, oh
building.
no,
I'm like,
Jing
oh no, who's it going to be?
It's CTRS again.
Ooh.
But we're going to, okay.
Okay.
So we've got Ronsky coming back in, so hey, shout out to all the Aussie viewers. But it's going to be Texture stepping away. So this is the first time that we see him subbed out.
Yeah, but that must mean, I mean, either Lightning Fast is staying and they're figuring out a raise combo, or SK Rossi has to be coming back in for that Jet, right? That seems to have been the change they've gone for, where Texture is now the dedicated Sentinel. And okay, so it is Rossi coming back in for that Jet position, and then Ronsky being subbed in over Texture.
So we can assume that Ronsky, I mean, just given what he's shown us so far, is widely been KO.
Yes.
So I'm expecting, and the last time that they did play here on Pearl, he was playing KO. I think it's going to very much be the same. That means that Bazzi, I'm Curious if he goes back to playing Fade or if it's going to be the Sky here. I think that they need some info gather. Composition that we have been seeing from Global Esports over the last several times that they have played on this map, and pretty much, yeah, the same here from the side of PaperX as well. Jing back on the Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, both sides kind of sticking true to what they've shown so far, having faith that the compositions were not, they don't need any change. It's really just going to be about how you adjust to each other.
Exactly, and this is really going to be about, who can get a better read on the opponent, because already both teams should have had a good amount of prep done. These compositions have not changed. The players may have just a little bit, but you are expecting this from each side. So it's all going to come down to these mid-round calls, getting a read on your opponents. We'll see who gets the better of it.
All right, well, it comes down to the wire. Going to Pearl for map number 3 between Paper Rex and Global Esports. Let's head into the game with our casters, Paper Thin and Quack.
Thank you very much, Will, and he's right. It really comes down to how well they adjust to each other, but that's the thing, I think. It reminds me of this Bruce Lee quote, right? Like, be water, empty your mind.
Yes,
that's what it is. You
yeah.
gotta be formless, be shapeless. You put water in a cup, it becomes a cup, and that's kind of how Paper Rex are playing, but that's the thing also. If water can flow, it can also crash.
Yeah.
That's the duality. Sometimes we see it work, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and it mostly flows downhill, right? And that's when when they're at their best, when they're like a waterfall, when they're torrential, like a downpour, right? They're coming at you. And that's what has made Paper X so good. And on this map, the last time against T1, they crushed them. I mean, it wasn't even close. 13-3 in terms of rounds. And I mean, Forsaken on that KJ at that time was all over the map. And that's something that I think, for GE, they have to be very aware of, because that disruptive presence that Forsaken had, just these lurks, getting all the way into water even, at times coming underneath the noses of T1 is something that GE has to be aware of here, especially on this attacker side to start out, is that Forsaken not afraid to push space as a killjoy, even without that sort of conventional utility that maybe lurkers have, like sentinels and controllers, or a lot of times the lurkers, but KJs usually are more like kind of holding flanks, being steadfast, but he will absolutely push space. Now, this could be decently free. Aaron might go for one with the Frenzy, but as good as he is with the Frenzies, this time around, a little bit too difficult to find much value.
Definitely is. I mean, you have to respect the fact that something's pushing with the shorty. Almost as if this was 2021 Valorant, but back into it we go. They already have the spike down. They have full control, and they just need to watch these angles. Towards defender spawn, towards the back of the ramp. They're watching it. They've got Mind Freak peeking and springing out of nowhere, along with Forsaken as well, up by the pillar. And that leaves 2 players remaining. Aaron and Bassi trying to do what they can, but it's going to be really, really tough. Going for individual duels will not favor you this time. And Aaron might have Frenzy, but put down an alarm bot too, and that gives away his position.
Yeah, he's just looking for some value out of this round. He's gonna die no matter what. Okay, he's got the one against the shorty, the long-range shorty. A little bit wanting there from something, but I mean, yeah, look, we've all been there. We've all tried it. We all are just like, maybe this time the shorty bullet spread will give me, random very lucky spread, but not going to be the case.
Hey, you don't have a choke attachment on that thing.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. There's no helping the shorty. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, that's why, all right, it's still a fast take. It's a fast approach, and GE tried to wrap around back. Didn't quite work out. Paper X takes the pistol.
I mean, the reinforcements on that flank from Paper X was great. I mean, they had it covered. They had it identified. The utility just not able to break it open, and great shots with those ghosts. Just lock it down here. Now they're going to go immediately over to the other side. Now look at this push out in the mid.
Wow.
For the side of GE. They have a 4-man coming through. Batsy on the site there, just kind of getting the info that it's going to be happening, but he's backing off, so they don't know where this is going. GE is still kind of trying to figure out if there's anybody around, if there's anything going on, and in fact, a Trailblazer to check there, so good awareness from Divide that could be happening. Now, Jing here has an opportunity to do some real damage. Oh, only gets one.
This is interesting because you can clearly see that Global has a different objective this round. They're not necessarily looking to win it out. In fact, maybe if they get a pick, they do a little bit of economical damage, it's good enough. Still though, those trades, those duels will favor Paper Rex in these situations, especially when the scenario has been read. All four stacked up together, up by main right now. And, well, exit frags? What?
Yeah, I mean, you're just playing now to exit frags and then die to the spike here. Okay, they did get one, so Monyet with that Spectre, he's just going to opt to, he might, I was going to say, Monyet, is he going to die? Yeah, they're all going to go down. Thought maybe.
I don't know. I don't think they picked up anything huge. Just
there was just a Spectre, you know, maybe somebody's like.
That's why I think it's a big point
funds,
too.
But yeah.
Because talking about cutting funds, Forsaken was saving funds. He only had a ghost that round. So I feel like Paper Rex are starting to kind of adapt to how Global plays the eco rounds after a pistol has been lost.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, look at the buy that they're able to put together here. You know, I mean, like
this could be a bonus win for Paper Rex.
Yeah, something still had that Vandal that he's able to carry over. He's the only one with half armor, a Bulldog for Mind Freak. So, you know, the economic situation here for Paper Rex is great. They've still got a decent amount in the bank too. So, certainly this is a huge round for GE if they're going to stabilize and keep this half from sliding in the wrong direction very quickly.
It comes down to how well they can receive this B-side push. Surely they hear the footsteps. Jing, wow, hot hands line up that blocks off defender spawn. And something with the dueling potential, he managed to get so much damage. Jing, value from the run it back. SK, Rossi, hiding up by screens. He goes unchecked. This is devastating. Monyet, Aaron, they all arrive on time. The cavalry is here. And Global are starting to push back the forces. Jing is the only one left. There's no way that he duels himself out of this one. A minute left on the clock, perhaps.
My emotions were
we're being tugged.
I was on an absolute roller coaster watching Rossi. I'm like, no, he's going to kill your teammate. No, wait, okay, just let them all go by. Okay, that spray's a little bit off. Okay, oh, it's all good, it's fine. It was like I was all over the place. I mean, that was just great trigger discipline from Rossi. It was a little bit risky, but it paid off. And you got to check that corner. I see that way too much time in Pacific. That corner is not checked.
30 seconds
way too much.
Happened before with like FM, Zeta. But here, this is where it counts the most. They have a goodbye. Jing's trying to play it safe, maybe looking for a save this time. Global going over to check up the A site. And I mean, you're absolutely right again. It's these tiny little things that kind of cause the downfall of Paper X. Meanwhile, Global, SK Rossi, just a fantastic positional play, the trigger discipline to allow Jing to go through. They had no idea that he was in that corner.
Yeah, and even though you lose Wronski and Batsy to it, you know, at the end, the result is good. And that could have very quickly gone the wrong way if, you know, Paper Rex has one of their classic reactions where they just, you know, flick on you and get the headshot and kill you. But it didn't happen this time. And so therefore, Rossi's able to provide a ton of value here. You know, and then Aaron and the others step in and start doing some damage as well. So that's a good round for GE. And Paper X just, you know, that's hopefully should be something that doesn't happen again, right? Or you miss that corner. There's a couple others on this map that sometimes people don't check. I doubt that we will see that. But again, the money here for the side of Paper X was good enough, especially with the Vandal being saved by Jing, that they're able to string together mostly another buy. There's a little bit of half armors and a Bulldog floating, but, you know, again, so far, nothing super crazy here from Paper Rex. They're going to try to push space. That is such a good hot edge. But the reaction there with the grab well, so good.
And then the follow-up reaction from Bazzi. Jing makes it a trade, and the Mind Freak arrives on time. They managed to turn the situation around. We're back even. Bazzi exploring water, but Paper X really just looking to push down and collapse on towards the B site. Wronski has to anchor. Bazzi up on top of Heaven. They try to push him back with the fragment, but Gravity Well will suck Wronski back in towards elbow. He's just waiting for the right time to peek out and push. He will be able to find the first one, maybe the second, but now no idea that Jing's behind. Something going off with more frags. Goes in with a tailwind just to close out the distance. Doesn't quite hear the tap, but now it goes through. He will be able to pick up Jing, evening out the odds. We're down to a 1-on-1. Something, only an updraft. 77 HP. The headshots have to count.
Aaron here has to check a bunch of angles. There's a lot of places that something could have hit into. You know, he could be in backside. He could be
Elbow?
here in Link. Yeah, he could be an elbow. He could be back by pillar. I mean, there's so many different places that Aaron has to worry about.
Spike is ticking. It's going. We've got about maybe 10 seconds left or something, but something will find that headshot with the angle that he's held. 3-1, Paper Rex. Again, we start to see some of these individual performances, but what I really liked was that hot hands from Jake.
Yeah, no, the hot hands is great, and the reaction from Munyet is just as good with that gravity well. Able to find two, but then, you know, the trades are there for Paper Rex. That gives them enough space that they can push towards the site, and then something wins some huge duels. Wrongski there re-peaked on something. I think that was a little bit ambitious. Not because it's something or anything like that. It's because he could have bought more time to wait for some reinforcements to come there to bail him out a little bit. Plus, he did have a player, like you mentioned, coming through the flank on the back of site in Hall. And you know, one way or another, if he checks that Hall push, okay, well, Paper Rex just mowing him down.
Talking about chaos, fighting with chaos. This is Southeast Asian Valorant. We push into each other all the time. We might not check some off angles, but we will be able to recover. Paper Rex, 5-1 now. I'm 4-1.
I blinked. Oh no. I missed it. No, but I mean, again, going back to the previous round, because that round was an eco for GE, so there's not much to talk about there other than they got, you know, red and run over. But it's just little things. Like, my eyes are really on, you know, Wrongski and Batsy here. So the reason being is that those are the two big differences in the agent comps, you know. And Batsy has been so good on the Sky. And here on the Fade, he hasn't had as much impact. I haven't seen, you know, those prowlers, a little bit with the haunt there that kind of gave Rossi some information on Jink's push, kind of maybe allow Rossi to make a better decision if he was going to pull the trigger or not in that spot. So that did have some impact, but overall I haven't seen that same level of just impeccable timing with the flashes, the Trailblazers that get information and gain space, those kind of things. I don't feel like have as much impact with the Fade on this map, and I haven't seen the combo kind of warrant switching to the Fade instead of a Sky here.
Because when you're playing with a Fade, you're really looking for combinations with some smokes perhaps, so you got vision through them, and you're going for information. Whereas when you have a Sky, and this perfect Korean flash and dash that we've seen so many times today, it's not really here on Pearl. The map is a lot longer, a lot bigger. There are so many more spaces that you need to cover. I can see why they want to go in for more information, but then again, you lose a little bit of that attacking power that sets up SK Rossi. So 1-4 right now.
And I think this map is just so big as well. I feel like Sky, with the range of the utility, has a little bit more impact for the most part. But okay, well, up and over.
You can do that. Doesn't quite find anything though. Certainly.
Was it Meteor was the first one that I remember see doing that, I think?
Certainly makes Global a little bit nervous though. But with the positions that they're holding, look at how defensive it all is. Playing for time, classic tactics, pushback Paper Rex, lockdown committed.
I mean, Batsy,
we're reassessing our options.
Like you were talking about, using that utility to check towards mid. He hasn't got any confirmations off of those haunts or the prowlers, so he's just backing towards B. They haven't gotten any contact anywhere else. GE's making a decent gamble, but it's something with the opening and another with the blades. He cannot do anything wrong with those.
And along with a run it back too, but once more, it's going to be Munyet. Aaron, they are able to anchor down the site. Something going in forward with this, but wow, he's dancing over with this. His teammates have saved his life. Off a little bit of crazy mouse movement, we have SK Rossi, the lone survivor with an operator, something he surely wants to hold on to.
I mean, this is read pretty well by GE. They use that lockdown. They use the fact that there's no other information gained off of the utility or contact on the other side of the map that they're like, okay, we know this is a B hit. We're going to, you know, overstack it. It's basically a 4-1. And they still lose because something's just that good. Now, you are going to get the kill onto Forsaken from Rossi. See if you can maybe find another kill or two. But at the end of the day, this is all just hoping to, you know, find as much value as possible while not dropping this op. But he got the kill with good patience. He dashed in.
All right. Just a little bit more, but of course the round still handed over to Paper Rex and Devi, there to back up his teammates in their time of need.
I'm not so sure about that one, Rossi. You've been playing great today, but
you want to save it.
Yes, the dash there was a little ambitious. Overall, though, this is just, you know, something. He's so good at these entries. He causes so much chaos. He's so fast. even when he's just dancing, like you were saying, it causes problems for the opponent. Absolutely, the PRX fans should be thrilled. This guy is incredible individually. The skill is there, and now it's all starting to come together for Paper X, and GE has to turn it around here sooner rather than later. I mean, they've got Rossi with the blades. Maybe he can try to do his best something impression, but surely they know it's coming, and they're ready. They're overstacked for it.
And that's the X factor. Paper X now switching things up, holding aggressions, and he's able to push Global Esports back.
Got your trail.
If Laystrom does not work out now from here on out, it's just a simple push over to the B side. Let's get the spike down. We know where they're hiding.
Look at something. He's just going to tail this Seeker. So good.
Back to the shorty. Oh my God, Bazzi. Don't let that happen. Of course, they all surround him, but antics from Paper X once more.
Yeah, well, it doesn't hurt Paper X much. Their economy's doing pretty decent, so they can afford to get a little bit spicy. They're allowed to push the space and throw a gun or two over. It's not a big deal.
But they're very much in control of this map so far with the way that they're playing on attack. I mean, that's the interesting thing. This was left as the decider, and Paper X decided to start out on attack, and I feel like that's a very conscious choice, a conscious effort to really put question marks in GE's mind. I
mean, our best teams in Pacific, they like to start on attack on most maps. That's generally the case for DRX, Paper X. Like most maps, they want to set the tempo. They want to come out swinging. They want to punch you in the mouth. It's that old Mike Tyson quote. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Oh yes.
And
no plan survives contact with the enemy.
Exactly, and that's where these teams excel, is when they're the ones setting the tempo. Okay.
Well, we're gonna set a bit of our own tempo as well with an aggressive position up. Something that wasn't quite expected. A sudden push by SK Rossi too. Be a bit of a re-peek, but he still wins away, and that buys enough time. We've lost enough players that Paper X will slow down their advances. Oh, he's gonna re-peek it again.
He should. He's got an opportunity to, if that was re-aggressed by Jing there to drop the spike, and then it's almost like 100% round over at that point. But it's a good rotation from Paper X, at least finding some open space, finding the potential. I mean, if they can get, if they can get a kill here, if they can get a pick, they might be able to get the plant down at the very least. But that turret, great placement by Aaron. Really reading the rotation.
Because that's what it's dependent on. You have to find that pick, but how do you do it when that much utility is up against you? Along with Vanyet playing point blank range, a simple burst, and that's going to be Global with their second round win.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of Global getting that early first blood. This is something that really killed them on Split, which, almost nobody was positive on first kills versus first guess. They were losing point of contact early often. This time around, they don't. Batsy is good for one, and then Rossi stepping up huge there at A-Long, finding those two big kills, getting a ton of value. And now Paper X, the money, starts to get a little bit dicey. They still have enough for another round for sure. Wrongski's got his ult though, Batsy's got his ult, Monyet has his. I mean, Forsaken and Mindfreak have theirs, so
yes.
Let's see if there can be some good utilization of these ultimates.
If anything, I think Global has retake potential in this round, but Rossi is trying to discourage them from pushing forward first. It's a duel between the Jets, and SK Rossi will be pushed back. The way that Something ducks in and out of cover. Off the Nebula though, and his team is here to back him up. Rossi might have a bit of vision trying to thread that needle.
Dude, the way that Something moves himself, his movement is so crisp here. He completely avoids Rossi's sight lines, baits out a ton of those shots, offers up such narrow margins that, Rossi has to hit incredible shots, and just as good as he is, he couldn't quite find him. That's just great play there from Something.
He's no longer nervous, I think. Because you have to recognize that SK Rossi's on and off. He only has one shot.
And look at that flash to check on the other side of the Cosmic Divide to know that it's safe. They're going to use the Trailblazer to confirm that nobody's right around the corner. Wrongski's going to push it anyway.
Oh!
He gets two!
And all of a sudden, the retake, the push comes through. And when push comes to shove, it's going to be SK Rossi finding one frag. Maybe a little bit of a detain, but that's going to be enough. And now Paper X gets the spike down. 2 on 4. How do they hold this? Mindfreak, what is this push? He's gonna get punished for it, and that leaves Avai alone, cold, back up by Halls as Kirasi peeks in. Might have lost his head, but this is big information for Global. Surely they know how to collapse in on him together as a team. Aaron.
Senses, great timings there. That's a huge round for Global.
Huge round.
Set those up, and Bazzi will be the one to get information sent, and that's how Global tends to operate, I think. Because while we're seeing some teams play agents with more like map specialists, and will sub people out depending on the map, Global kind of goes in based off of the agents and the roles that they want their team to have. And that's when we see Ronsky getting subbed in, and it works out well in the rounds that don't work out.
Yeah, I mean, he had, one shaky map on his very first game, on his very first one on stage, and, talking to the team behind the scenes, they just said, there was some things going on. He was a little bit nervous. May have been some technical issues going on there, and things like that. But, so a lot of mental things mostly, right, for Ronsky, that very first one, just getting that experience. And since then, he's been much better. He's been playing a lot more consistent. Yeah, he's only 4-9, but a play like that could be a pivot point in this map, in this series. And so that's why you bring him in. Hopefully he can continue to have some more impact as we go forward. I still haven't seen Forsaken really get aggressive yet on that.
Hasn't been able to.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's great about Global's positioning. We're seeing little bits of contest where they're able to take Jing down to 2 HP because of SK Rossi's off. And at the same time, utility just to prevent Forsaken from getting lurks.
They don't want to let him pop this, run it back right away either. They were hoping to maybe catch him. They can't do it, so he's still able to get it through. Trying to push here.
Gosh.
Got the kill. Huge for Jing.
Big value again, but SK Rossi still very much alive and has the angle. So that's going to be the Blaze wall set up, allowing for PaperX to perhaps get through. But look at how they're toying back and forth with this map plays. We've got players looking up over by mid to catch any rotations. Meanwhile, just carefully getting the spike down on A.
Yeah, they've got firm control over a lot of this map. It's Aaron's lurk here that's going to be potentially really important for GE. Rossi wants to kick the door down for his team. Let's see, there is that cosmic divide now for GE.
And that's going to give them a little bit more space. Devi still hiding inside of the Nebula though, but no! Wrong angle.
Oh my God.
That's all going to come down to Devi with the Phantom, where he doesn't quite have the ammo capacity to continue getting the spray transfer. Aaron.
He still got the, one of the two, but I think he might have been able to finish that third kill before they had the opportunity to double swing him like that.
It's tough to say. I think it's one of those little, micro decisions that really make it or break it in those moments. But like you said, it's that lurk from Aaron, the timing of it, but what? Again, a sudden peek. A little bit of an over peek from Aaron perhaps, but all it takes is one click. And all of a sudden, the entire B site is open. Ronsky gone. Bazzi is here, but he can't do much on his own.
Yeah, I mean, this guy with Blades is a different player. Bazzi able to get one before something shuts him right out. And now, something potentially could get an ace here. He's got 3 already.
Oh my God. We're still not done yet. We're only pushing through, but there it is, the ace denied, but still It's the angles that are really being held. We've taken out yet another threat, and that was SK Rossi. We know where Monyet is, and they are blocking off every single one of these entrances.
I mean, the confidence for something just goes through the roof with those blades in hand. He's so accurate, he's so pinpoint that it just feels like he never misses. The crosshair placement, near immaculate every time. I mean, he has to switch to the gun there to get the follow-up, but you know, he loves those blades. I think he'd rather have blades than most guns.
Pinpoint accuracy. Sorry, we're not going to say that word.
Yeah, I heard some interesting interesting words in that one.
Facts. All right.
All right, we're having
Let's
fun.
go to Paper X now. It's back to a bit of a default, just holding some angles. It is the last round of the first half, so we don't want Global to surprise us.
Yeah, last time we saw, you know, when Aaron had his lockdown, he got
Recovering it.
pretty aggressive with it, you know, but this time he's sitting way back, in the back of A, looking for maybe,
Heard that Prowler.
yeah, kind of a, you know, play off his own utility there. He's got the turret, he's got the alarm bot. It's just Jing though. Jing trying to sell a fake, it looks like.
Did the previous round, and Jing has to make more noise in order to pull off this fake, but I don't think Global are biting. SK Rossi has the operator. He wants to make this one count. He will. Mind Freak's gone. Your controller unavailable. It's going to be afforded. The Blade Storm now, and a little bit more potential to repeat. Jumps over. Forces something to spend that tailwind. Seekers just allow them to maybe push through, but it's been blocked off. How do you deliver the spike at this point? Monyet's covering off mid. There's only one approach, and Global are fully aware of what to do. Something is trying to break them off, though. Break them down. Bring them to their knees. He's gotten the lockdown off. 2 on 2. And we've got Ronsky from the back as well. Just narrowly missed him. He saw him.
10 seconds left.
10 seconds, and surely Paper X goes in for the spike plant. Committing to this,
Spike planted.
and we're just waiting for the best possible timing. He's been spotted, pulled out the utility. That's Ronsky gone. SK Rossi now, can you be the one to make it happen? The hopes and dreams of Global and Mumbai, but Davai will be the nightmare.
Yeah, this is just really well held down, and something is going absolutely monstrous, particularly in these last couple rounds. With 17, 8, and 4 right now for him is phenomenal. And even though SK Rossi able to find some value with those blades, with that op, it's this play right here that makes all the difference. And Aaron just kind of gave away his position a little bit early, allowed that slight adjustment in the angle for something to be that much easier. And then he's able to bully Rossi back, get the lockdown cleared out. And that's what basically wins them the round. Without that play from something, that is likely a GE win, or at least more likely a GE win. So that's huge, and that's what you brought this player in for. This superstar duelist who's been, you know, floating around the Japan region, dominating players in Japan for a long time. And you can see that the #1 player on the Asia ranked server at times. You know, I don't know if he currently is or not, but I know he was not too long ago. And you can see why.
He is that magic X factor for Paper X right now. It's such an interesting little micro play. Hearing the updraft, maybe that's what baited Aaron into peeking, and that's how he finds these frags. And of course, a lot of Jing fans in the crowd, but this is now Paper X at an 8-4. Like the desk was talking about at the start of today, it's eat or be eaten right now. Global has to come back, because if they don't, their standings are going to be down to 1 win, 4 losses.
No doubt. It is concerning for GE and their fans. You know, if you lose this, you're not out of it yet. You know, you can just sort of hold back and say, okay, well, we can still string together some more wins. There's still a world where we can make playoffs. But this win, if they could have gotten it, would have been really, really nice. And just a Jing, you know, play well.
Again, I mean, speaking of it, right? It's these hot hands that we're seeing on the attacking side. They have clear lineups for that Molly to just drop off in certain spots to clear out positions or maybe even block off potential pushes.
We've seen some really good nano storms from Forsaken, like clearing out Link near the edge of B site. Yeah.
So the question begs, you know, for Global side, what can we expect from them? I hope to see fragment lineups from Ronsky, and again, like you mentioned before, Bazzi with this agent choice of Faye surely it gives them a little bit more information on their attacking side, because that's where we've seen them perform a little bit better so far today.
Yeah, the other concerning thing for me for GE is that when they took this map away from Zeta the last time they played it, it was their defender side that was the much more impressive side. This time around, you know, their defender side was lacking. You know, their attacker side was kind of whatever. The map ended pretty fast. Jing there getting the push out. Rossi fast on this.
They're trying to pinch them in. A bit of a pincer maneuver, but of course A main has been backed up completely, and it's just Global controlling the middle ground.
They read this.
Oh, a great gravity well, but not connecting the spray. Monyet down to 4 HP, and it's just these microaggressions to give Global Esports the numbers they need to overwhelm Paper Rex's defenses.
It's a great call here from Aaron, recognizing that they can rotate back, that they've been able to pull Paper Rex away.
Okay, but Divine trying to hold it down on his own. The classic still deadly. And then the spike getting tapped by Ronsky, but it's just a bait. Bait out the peaks. Forsaken trying to slip in through. Not going to be able to close in the distance. He's lost that initiative. And now it's up to these teams, these players, to hold all the angles. That was almost like a triple crossfire. You had one on A main, one on Art, and the last one on the spike itself.
Yeah, this is, you know, GE just doing a great job pushing and pulling the map. I mean, the fact that they survived this gravity well,
yeah,
is, you know, I think Mind Freak there just kind of got
even
a
with
little bit
bait.
over-ambitious. Yeah, that's
Lots of tug of war on the map, if anything, Paper Thin.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to deal with like the way that GE plays these pistols, because they're so confident on them. They read the maps really well. They have great timings. Now something is going to sneak that Marshall in. Devi has a shorty in hand, holding in the back hall.
Swish. Yeah. Forsaken and Jing as well. Two classics right in their faces.
Oh
the
God.
flash comes out, but oh no. Not quite landing it. It's going to be Global standing their ground firmly.
Oh, nice.
And this is very possibly a flawless round win for Global. Monyet B-hopping towards the back of Halls. There is the shorty kill that we're expecting to see. Mind Freak trying to find some right clicks, but not today. Flawless win for Global.
Sorry, it's just the
The B-hops.
yeah, the B-hops with the shorty. Displayed there. Whereas me, I'm
All
having
the
fun
way
with it.
from the desk.
Yeah,
We're
I
having
can hear
fun
it.
with this.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it.
This is great Valorant. I don't care who wins or loses anymore. Global looking great with a recovery at the start of the second half. Paper X trying to play off some positions. A bit of a crossfire setup towards E-Link, but Global are respecting the space. They're anticipating some pushes from Paper X, but as we've seen so far, at least today or from the previous map, they're no longer just blindly, aggressively pushing out.
Yeah, this is very, very disciplined. Aaron really likes to try to get as much information as he can before he starts making pushes. They have to check the box here at long just to see if anybody's there. They're going to use that Prowler to gain a little space. Something's going to push off of it. Devi as well gets a kill on the other side of the map.
Here comes the push down on towards A main. Something's going to reposition, trying to find the sprays through the smoke. He will be able to find one, swapping to the sidearm, but it's not going to happen. Bazzi continuing to push forward. They don't want to plant the spike too early, knowing that Paper X just might be around the corner. The timing is crucial for this team right now. Ronsky striking from behind, but down to 7 HP. Shoulder exposed, and Jing, single shot to the body block. That's going to be Paper Rex getting off the third round win on the second half.
Still a ton of damage done here by GE. This is a
Nice
relatively successful round. I love the way that they get aggressive towards Secret. They just start pushing right into the back of the map. You know, Devi here, a good hold against Rossi, but that kind of bought just enough space and time that they're able to get this job done. I mean, the defenses were pretty strong. But still, Paper Rex able to, in the long run, you can see Jing there with a little bit of a sigh of relief. it was on a knife's edge for a moment there, for sure.
But again, I mean, these performances from all players so far, especially Something and Jing, this duo right now. Look at how these hot hands push them off. He's claiming those ult orbs. 1 point away from a run it back, and that's going to be big value in the second half. Something.
Oh.
Narrowly getting away by the inch of by a hair.
No damage even done there.
I mean, it's just to gain information now. Leapfrogging forward, leapfrogging backward. A bit of a guiding light to ensure that nobody's really on site just yet. Devi on the other side of those boxes. Timing of peeking is really crucial because what they really want to do is prevent them from going forward. But look at that Nova Pulse. Forsaken a quick triple, but Global not backing down. Monyet versus Mindfreak again. Both M controllers. Where could Monyet be?
What just happened in there?
You blinked and you missed it, buddy.
I gotta stop blinking. This is tough, man.
Mindfreak's waiting for the spike tag.
This is, this is much more difficult for Monyet.
30 seconds left.
He has a lot more to work with. Trying to see if it's not the bait. Oh, he looked it the wrong way. Mindfreak gets it. Unbelievable.
You had no idea where to look.
The timing, again, it's so much harder for Monyet there. It just is so much harder.
You can't out-mind game the Mind Freak, buddy.
That's true.
He tried to bait out the peak. He tapped the spike. He put down the Nebula. Mindfreak just waited like, all right, 1, 2,
Somewhere, Chris Angel just smiled and nodded. Yeah. He doesn't even know what's going on. He doesn't even know what Valorant is. But
just like,
yeah,
hey, I feel happy today. 6-10 now. Global again looking to find their win, back into it, but a sudden bit of aggression, and it's the same set play on towards A main. Someone could pick up that ult orb. Jing has to run it back, and that's why he's pushing forward. Doesn't even care because it's just information. Might have seen them peeking back out as his run it back expired.
That's a great little play. Oh, Monyet there, but Forsaken again. Good for 2. Oh. Huge play from Jing on the other side, dude. He was phenomenal that round. Just pushing that map so aggressively, and now Paper Rex, the confidence flowing, the rounds. I mean, this is almost over. It looks like it's 11-6, and GE needs to dig deep, and it's going to be a timeout to try to find that energy, to try to find that strength.
I don't know if they can make it happen. They have to. Again, eat or be eaten. But when Paper Rex are feeling themselves like this, how? They look unstoppable. The only one who've really stopped them so far, Team Secret, maybe DRX, but this is peak performance now.
Well,
they
DRX
are flowing like water.
DRX is
on a different level.
Yes. They are the team that, I was talking with Binbon after we did our little, our segment where we ranked the teams. Yeah, he saw that and he goes, yeah, DRX S, and then we're talking about it. I'm like, well, DRX actually SS.
SS.
DRX is actually SS.
Are we like SSS smoking?
Yeah, exactly, man.
Stylish.
This is like, they are on another level for sure. And Paper Rex talks a lot about the fact that DRX just has their number. They've said that in publicly
their kryptonite, exactly.
that they can't beat them, in any respect, whether it be on stage or off. And it's tough. I mean, that's most of the teams in Pacific. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Right now, it's hard. And, you're seeing this in a lot of the other regions, too, where there is clearly a separation of teams.
Right now, we want to see Global Esports close in on that gap between them and Paper Rex. And we saw it so much so on Icebox. Can they do it again back on Pearl? After this timeout, called by Eraser, they're trying to fight back towards A main. SK Rossi peeking into it, but Something is just too damn good.
He's incredible. I mean, this double push here, even though Jing gets caught with his pants down a little bit there, it doesn't matter. Something's just right there for the follow-up. And yes, it is a lower buy for GE. With some Spectres, some Stingers, and that kind of thing, but still, now you're going to even invest the Seekers. You have all kinds of ults, but Monyet, wow, that was fast. Oh my God. Not like this.
Spike down A.
New guns now. Something versus Monyet.
One enemy remaining.
Might have a little bit, but not against Forsaken, who's just holding the angle up by Art. Passy answers back, and we're down to the one-on-one. Not sure where something is. Collecting on that fourth frag. But such an incredible eco round from Global. Match point, though.
This is it. This is either 6 rounds in a row for GE and we go to overtime, or at some point before then, it will be Paper X winning the match. And I mean, this is something here, just reading these positions so well. That initial push with Jing, really well set up. And he's able to catch Batsy a little bit off guard on that angle.
Yeah.
Man, Monyet, those Sheriff shots were pretty good.
They were good. But I have to level with you, Paper Thin. This has been 3 rounds now that we've seen Global continue to try to contest A main, and every time Paper X, Jing, something, they are able to push them off.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Jing there. That
why
Phoenix utility really suits itself to those angles. You know, the way that you can throw those curveballs.
Face your fear.
Okay. That's why we're going back towards the B side. The Nightfall, maybe trying to get some value off of it, but Cosmic Divide, I don't know if that's going to work out against them.
The lockdown in the
Sudden
back, though.
peaks might be so crucial, but yes, the lockdown at the back gives them a little bit more cover. Global still have full control, though, because this is a split push now. They have B-Link control. They have Forsaken surrounded, but he still makes a shot anyway. Spike Karen killed, 50 seconds left, and they will be able to get that spike down.
Paper Rex is cooking on the back of that lockdown. They try to push the angles, and it's going to be push the storm of their own.
5 rounds is not impossible.
Blades v Blades.
Does have Blades, but this is a very different angle.
What?
Woo! Still
He's
able
nuts.
to updraft
Just
twice.
Don't leave this man when he's got blades in his hands, observers. Just stay on him.
He knifed the 0 point. And now he's looking to go back in, but they will spray him through the nebula.
I cursed him. My beef.
And here comes SK Rossi. Clinton, you have cursed Paper Rex in this very round. They are out of firepower. If anything, maybe Jing coming from the back of B Long now. But guess what? Killjoy utility be down. It's all over the place. And oh, he still managed to make it work.
No way!
Is this it? Jing! Oh, and My Freak is the one to do it up from the top of heaven. Paper Rex! 13-7 ends this best of 3.
Well, the Jing fans. It was an eco round mostly, but Jing's able to find that Vandal and put it to good use.
I'm thinking, like, how do you counter a team with that much dueling potential? It starts off with that linchpin that is something. Updrafts upwards, gets the first pick, and then a big push back, and then players to come from behind as well.
They're
Feels bad.
Yeah, I mean, once the confidence got flowing here for Paper X, once they went into kind of that normal mode, what we usually are used to seeing from them, when they got back to having somebody like Divide who's in there, I think helps calling shots, even if it's very minimal sort of direction of traffic, it still needs to be there somewhat. And something has just a phenomenal map here. The entries from him were insane. Every time he has the blades in his hands, he's good for at least one. The value that he finds on these pushes, him and Jing, like you were talking about, locking down that long A hallway, you know, with that Jing with that Phoenix utility is so good, and the way that hallway angles, again, it offers a lot of opportunity. Great usage of the hot hand, things like this that Jing does that nobody else in Pacific at the very least does with the Phoenix. I don't know if anybody else even plays it, really.
No one, I don't think.
Yeah, and he's incredible. I mean, this last round was just absolutely nasty.
And this is why we love to watch Paper Rex. When they are feeling themselves, when these unorthodox picks really do work out, this is what we've all come to know and love. 5 first bloods on something, 4 on Jing. That's 9 first bloods in total. Global did put up a fantastic performance. We saw an ace from Monette. We saw moments of brilliance from Aaron with the calls, but still, there are
Firepower,
some
man.
gaps.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, especially on this map, when you, because of the agent composition you want to run, there isn't really a place for texture here. And I think that does hurt GE a lot. I mean, I think they're at their best when your Rossi, texture, and some combination are in there, in the equation. Texture in particular. You know, I understand what they're thinking. You know, Wrongski didn't play super bad or anything, but I think texture is just too good individually that you can't not have him in. He's just too consistent. Yeah. You know, you could see what he was able to do, particularly on Icebox, you know, on that KJ. So maybe it's time to find a new way to work Pearl. Try to get texture in there. Try to see if you can bring some more firepower. If let's say, you know, hopefully GE makes it to the playoffs, right? They might face this team again.
It is possible, but that's it. I mean, like you're talking about, so far today, we haven't really seen texture on that duelist role. It's almost as if he swapped fully over onto that Sentinel, that Killjoy, and it works out for certain maps, but onto Pearl, we might have SK Rossi, but when you have that many duelists, that much firepower from Paper Rex, how, again, I ask, like, how do you counter this sudden jet double updraft?
It takes some incredible protocols, and that's why DRX is able to. I mean, DRX, of course, pound for pound has insane players, right?
Yes. Just
like Paper X does. I would even argue that maybe Paper X individually, mechanically, might have a slight edge overall over DRX. Maybe. I could see the argument. However, what makes DRX difference is the way they react to things. The protocols in place is just so clean, so good. They have just, you know, they've thought so many layers deep on how to answer any situation. And they have a lot of experience against Paper X. They were scrim partners for a real long time. They understand these aggressive teams, their aggressive nature. That's why you don't see teams that play like this really, you know, cause DRX too many problems. So Paper X, as great as they are, you know, eventually we need to see some kind of, I don't want to see them let go of their aggressiveness or anything like that, but we need to see a little bit more.
Yes, more flexibility, more versatility, I think, truly is the key. But if anything, I don't want to count Global out just yet. This might be one win and 4 losses for now, but it's not all doom and gloom. They still have that one win under their belt.
They're playing great.
Yes.
They're playing great.
And if they can take maybe like that little page off of DRX's book, there's something to be gained.
Look, they're